Wooly, it's not often in these episodes that we begin the call and I feel immediate and thick terror. Okay. Because I asked you
what I don't see what's happening. What's the issue?
Maybe the issue, Wooly, is you're wearing a suit. You're wearing a full suit, and I immediately am like, "Oh, what's the occasion?" And you hit me with a, "You'll see."
Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is the occasion. No?
Yeah, but we don't dress up in suits for the podcast. We can? Do we want to make that a thing?
No, not. Well, I didn't think so, but I mean, my understanding is that we're standing on business now. I'm under the impression that you looked straight at me through the camera last month, and your energy said that we were standing on business. So, is it not business time? Are we not here to get to work? Are we?
Wooly, in complete innocence, I recommended a wonderful show to a dear friend. Any villainous energy, any business or confrontation, that's on you, buddy. That's.
I'm just giving this show and you the respect you deserve by showing up ready to work. That's what this is. You know, sometimes you ever see when LeBron is walking in to get game ready and he's got the suit because we're going to work. You know, I'm here to go to work.
This is the most uncomfortable I've ever been on a podcast.
That's on you, my friend. I'm here taking this as dead serious as you'd like to take it.
What the fuck is happening?
That's it. That's all.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
It's fine. We get together, we start chatting, things are nice and, you know, and bouncy and warm, and then we bounce through our recommends, and then we get to, you know, the end segment where shit pops off. That's the kind of thing we started to establish here. But I'm taking it as serious as you'd like it to take it. That's what I'm here to do. So, without further ado, let's podcast.
Eyepatch Wolf.
I'm Woolie Versus. And
we are Versus Wolves! Versus Wolves! Woolie, I just got out of the bath.
How is your
I was
bath?
having a very relaxing Sunday. I was chilling. I got my magnesium bath salts just kind of leveling me. Yeah, buddy.
You've got bath tech?
Okay, hang on. I'm sorry, Woolie. You don't have bath tech?
Okay. I've purchased some Lush gift bags for mom and for Punch Mom and, you know, for people in my life, and bath bombs and things like that. I haven't indulged myself in the bath technology. Wow. Okay. What do we got going on?
Woolie, can I ask you a very serious question?
Yeah.
Why are you scared of comfort?
I'm not scared of anything. I just have not sat in a full tub in a very long time.
Oh, Woolie, let me tell you, you're feeling a little stressed. You get yourself some CBD or lavender bath salts. Let that shit melt away. Your muscles are tired from some tough workouts. You get yourself some magnesium. You just soak it up, buddy. Just soak it up.
So realistically, it's honestly the deal is mostly that, like, the time it takes to fill a tub up, sit down, and have a nice relaxing bath is, ironically, that is like time you need to cut out of an otherwise busy day in order to, like, heal yourself. But I'm like, the amount of time it takes, I'm like, I just need to take faster, quicker things. So like that takes too long for me for the amount of things I'm trying to cram into most of my
so what
time.
do you do to relax then?
Honk, honk.
Okay. Yeah, the kind of person who shows up to a podcast in a full business suit is beginning to make a lot more sense to me.
Listen, here's what I do is it all goes in and it stays there until the next time I go to Japan and sit in an onsen, and then it comes out, and then we get the HP back up, and we take all that damage and heal it back so that the life bar cap gets removed and we go back up to full.
Ryu's grade damage does not grow back between games.
Yeah. No, every once in a while, I might go with Punch Mom, and we might like hit like a spa or something, but it's like, months apart. I don't do this on the regular. So.
Oh man. Okay. So in all seriousness, every morning I try and do like I write in my little feelings journal because
wow.
I don't know if you've ever noticed this about me. I have a lot of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try and meditate for like 10 minutes, and that's just to keep the demons at the door.
Yeah,
that is barely holding me together.
Little sentimental boy, you got feelings that have to come out.
It is what it is, Mm-hmm. But then Sunday evening, you getting in that bathtub.
Okay.
Now part of that is I need the bath to help sustain this hair.
The Bestington.
The Bestington.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's what I'm calling it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's reasonable. But I think you got to chill. You got to take care of yourself. Woolie. This is why you always think that I have like a nefarious motive with this podcast, because you're so stressed that it comes out, and otherwise very friendly attempts to improve your life are being interpreted in the wrong ways. If we're being real.
I understand, and but the thing is just I'm very busy. There's a lot I got to get done, and there's a lot that I have gotten done, and there's just things that, it's rough to try to find the time, but I'm sure it's worth it, and that's okay. That explains a lot. You got the lavender CBD bath bombs going.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Cool.
Well, they're just salt. They're just salt. The bomb Woolie is it's a gimmick. You don't need that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like the idea of like you wake up on like a summer Sunday and have a nice refreshing journey that leads you like down a path of flowers and incense to the seat you're sitting in, and I wake up fighting demons. I wake up going, where are we going? What's going on? And the garage is taking me,
that's how I wake up as well. And this is how I put the demons back in the jar.
Okay,
so I can actually do the shit I need to do.
Gotcha. Okay. I just get some caffeine and I stim pack that shit into my neck like StarCraft and then I come sit down and go, but
it's kind of troubling to me that just by general vibe you're still what I feel like a way chiller person than I am.
Oh man, yeah, well, you gotta fake it till you make it, right?
I guess so. How's it going?
That's a lesson. That's a lesson that one can learn from a movie like Slam Dunk, the first Slam Dunk,
Oh yes,
that's a good. Just putting that in the air. Just leaving
that
it
is
there.
a fine movie. Yeah, sure.
Just leaving that alone. Yeah, it's going all right. Not too bad. It's gotten ridiculous here in terms of like the flip over from being chilly outside to being swelteringly hot in about 48 hours. So I currently have an AC on its lowest setting right here blasting, and I have a fan over here blasting in the opposite direction, and I might need to open a window in a minute as well. So we'll see.
Wow. Sticking with the suit, huh?
I mean, you imply that there's some sort of gimmick afoot. I don't see what the implication. What are you getting at? Like, no, I'm.
Is there going to be a payoff to this, Woolie? Like, what?
I'm treating this podcast with the respect it deserves. What are you asking the questions about? We're moving on.
Okay. Woolie, so
don't let it occupy
you.
Too much of the mental space there.
Okay. I'm putting it out of my mind. It's just
don't get mixed up now.
Okay. I don't know about you, Wooly, but one thing that absolutely nosedived my ability to partake in other media recently is I started playing Hades 2.
Oh.
Fucking. And I really went into that game being like, I don't know that I need another Hades, but I'll check it out. God damn, that's a video game.
Man.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So the first one, Supergiant developed in this way where they made a small team and it was truly early access, right? They had a small team putting pieces into that game bit by bit over a long period of time, and they just quality of lifed it over the course of years. And it's just the fact that it's gotten to where it is like, it's no surprise if you've been watching it from day one. And I have been to a fault, because I actually played the early access Hades 1 so much that I hit the walls in some cases. And then when they dropped a bunch of new content, I almost burnt myself out on it. You know, I did I did a ton of escape attempts and put a ton of hours in prior to even Nyx being in the game. You know what I mean? And then so when the placeholder started changing and all that, I came back and took a look, and then the final of 1.0 came out, and that's when everyone was talking about it, when they hit 1.0, and it made waves and the complete version was out. But it's I know that hitting an early access wall means you can lose your save progress. And I've done that already in things like Darkest Dungeon as well and stuff. So
right, okay.
I'm trying to be careful with Hades 2 now, is the moral of the story, to not overplay this in early access because of how much I want to, but then knowing that updates and changes are going to be huge and you might have to restart everything, you know?
Yeah.
So play right now expecting your progress to possibly be lost, essentially.
Yeah, and I totally feel that. I just can't get over... I kind of picked it up being it's early access, I'll poke at it, and it just completely pulled me in, and I'm at the point now where I'm grazing up against the last boss.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
I've given him a fair go twice,
okay.
And it's oh, this is interesting, and it is just such a infinitely charming game.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
Man.
It's crazy seeing the placeholder shit, right? Because there's a spot later on. So they have this piece of placeholder character art for any NPC who isn't finished, and it's just a shadowed figure in a cloak, and you
Karen,
can see what it is.
The Karen.
Yeah. Karen, and there's a couple of others who have it as well.
Who had placeholder forever in 1, finally got a complete piece of art in 2 on final release, and then they're now back to placeholder again. It's poor Karen can't get a break, you know.
But there's a really important character you meet from the first game at some point in this game, and they don't use that piece of placeholder art. Instead, they use this really it's nearly like a marker drawing, and it's not. I'm sure it's like a digital sketch, but it's that level of roughness, and it's oh, whoa. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know, and it's so cool to see that stuff.
Yeah, I mean this game, the characters are just overwhelmingly charming. It's a world that you just wanna. You can throw yourself into it. The game itself being really fun to run and fight in and challenge you is great, but it's the character designs that scream at you in this. From day one, the hot gods and hot goddesses all over Hades 1, that energy carried forward. There's multiple highlight clips of me now. Actually, there's a pretty good one if I can direct you. If you go check out Woolie Versus the Algorithm, which is the highlight channel I have, there's a clip of me reacting to the first 5 minutes of that game, which is walking into Hecate and then immediately into Nemesis and just going, ah! The 1-2 combo of those two character designs, you know?
It's a lot.
And then not only that, but I feel another unique element of charm that I've been able to identify recently. It's what is it with... It's okay, everyone looks awesome. And shout out to the updated artwork for some people as well. I love the new Poseidon. The new Zeus is not as good as the old one in my opinion, but new Aphrodite with the shield and the spear and and the Ares strip art is incredible. And I did get a little bit. I saw ahead of time. Someone sent me a picture of Chaos, and
I think Chaos got the biggest upgrade.
Shit! right?
Yeah, and I think it's holding like the head of the old Chaos.
Yeah. So just the cleanest, incredible fucking wow, right? But all that to say, another element when these characters are talking that I just love, and it's unique to this game, is everyone has this quality of vocal fry on their line reads, right? Think of like the way Meg talks in one, the way some of the gods kind of like just have a little trail off to their voice, you know, like there's a lot of
there is a kind of casualness in a way.
Yeah, you know, there's a casual, very like down to earth, you know, kind of vibe that has, and lines tend to trail off. Vocal fry is all over the place, you know, and I hear it all over too as well. So good, man.
I think there's something interesting, and it kind of ties into that, where, you know, the way everyone's like, these characters are so hot. And, like, they're all very attractive. But I feel like there's some feeling to them where it's like, it's not, they feel hot in a way, it's not like the developers trying to make something you'll find hot. It's more just they feel like these complete characters who happen to be super attractive. Am I making any sense at all there?
I think I get what you're aiming at. I just think I disagree. I think I just don't agree, because I think that they want these gods and goddesses to be the perfect, like just the hottest versions of what they are, because that's what they're these divine beings. And then the energy for every one of these other characters is like, they're going to be about a thing, but that thing that they're about, they're going to take it to fucking 11, 12, you know? Like, I think when you design a big badass witch lady, and then you make an ab window, that's just...
No, you're right. But I think it's like, it's nearly like, to me, it nearly feels like it's not like, I don't know, it's like, it's not a fan service thing. It's like something else. I don't know. I need to meditate on this more. But there is something just very particular about the way this game does attractive characters that I just don't see in a lot of shit. And I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm digging it, you know. But I think they are, you know, there's a lot of games that like will target, like they'll target they're like, what are you thirsty for? What are you drinking tonight, right? They'll try, and like this one is it has a wide range of beverages that it's offering you.
Yeah, like no matter what you like, you're eating good,
right? And when it comes, and like you're just from the tap. You know what I mean? Just put your head under the tap and just crank that shit, because you're yeah, incredible. Hades too, man. Also, if you don't complete your 10th run of the first game, boy, do you get hit with some instant spoilers. But you know, it's a sequel, so that's on you. That's on me. You know, I didn't complete my 10th run of the original game, so I didn't get the full true ending. And so
I didn't complete it either. I think, I don't know if you feel this, but sometimes it's like when you feel like you've experienced the like majority of a game, it's nearly detrimental to stick with that game unless you're going to get some like, maybe this is more of a video essay thing, unless you think you're going to get like more content out of it. And it's that can be troubling. Like, to me, I try and play as many different things as I can. And whenever something starts to click, I'll be like, oh, let's pursue this, you know? But there's a pressure to like 100%ing the 7 out of 10. Not that Hades 1 was a 7 out of 10.
I know what you mean. Okay. I'm not always going for the 100%, but I'm going for the 100% in my heart. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm looking at like when I feel satisfied, I'm like, I've seen what I want to see here, right? There's a couple cases of that. Like I recently got through FF16 DLC, which is pretty good, by the way. And there was a little bit of extra cleanup after one of them, and I was kind of like, I think I'm good. I got exactly what I wanted here, and a lot of the side quest stuff can be, you know, like there's some epilogues here and there and stuff. But in any case, it sort of depends. In Hades' case, I definitely wanted to get to see the true ending and everything. So it was about a time crunch that I didn't have, you know. But walking in, I was like, all right, I accept that whatever I see starting this game, it's my fault. I had time and I just didn't, you know. And I saw some shit, and then I was like, okay, all right, now I know. And I've since put it down, and I'm doing my runs of the original. Just to
I want to go back and get the 10, and I mainly just want to max out. Megara.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Gosh darn.
Yeah. There's some great shit when you do the multiple runs and like, the characters update the stories and everything. There's some great shit there, yeah.
Cool. Cool. Out of curiosity, real quick, where did you land on 16 in the end? As in, like, how are you feeling about it?
Oh, FF16. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. I like it a lot.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. As someone, my short version of that is essentially that I can understand if someone who is a traditional Final Fantasy fan is not super enthused about their franchise becoming Devil May Cry. However, there's a sign back there that you might be able to see. I fucking love when the things that I don't expect to become Devil May Cry become Devil May Cry. So that was great. I'm down with the action, and they did a really good job, actually. I think FF7 Remake was also a really interesting like step in towards making things somewhat action, but keeping some ATB, keeping some turn-based.
I love what they did with the 7 Remake's battles.
Yeah. And right, so that was a nice like test and a complete, like, it just feels amazing in the fight. And then 16 feels like finishing off what 15 was trying to figure out with its action.
Yeah, I think you could. I really feel like Remake was like the completed form of whatever the fuck they were trying to do at 15, which I consider that battle system a total mess.
The way there's moments in 7 Remake where like one character, Tifa's in the air doing a combo, and like Cloud is on the ground, and I'm switching between each one, picking Barrett, finishing it off, and then the switch between action and then pause, some cool shit is about to go down, set it up, and then go back into the action feels amazing, right?
Yeah, it can get real like white knuckle in there sometimes.
16 is just a really fun way to make an action game and then also introduce what everyone has made clear is like FF14 style rotations. When you're doing online raids with your buddies and you're doing a rotation of skills, and when this one's on cooldown, you're filling the screen with bullshit on the next one, and you kind of get through that and then go back into this thing of like, yo, here's a launcher, air combo, snatch, bring that enemy over here, and and everyone's a combo dummy that you can style on, I liked that. You get so insanely busted powerful towards the end that like you can just drop like 6 nukes in a row on anything. And I did appreciate as well the Game of Thrones style political subplot, which then kind of and also the fucking racism is powerfully like holy shit, and all of that kind of hits a point where once the politics stops, then they bring in the Final Fantasy ass other shit, and I'm like, oh, I miss the politics. I want to go back to the human enemies. That guy sucks.
I got to like the first 12. I played like the first 12 hours of the game, and even then, I would say like it was cool, but I was kind of like, yeah, slavery is bad. Thank you for telling me that. Little anime character,
right.
Just like, okay.
Yeah. I find it goes some interesting places with it.
Okay.
There you do as that whole slavery plot line thing. The more you learn about it, the more you kind of have some like. There's some shit that like hits. I'd say.
I have heard points. There is parts of the story where it really like it goes off in some really cool ways.
Yeah, the biggest issue, if anything, is just that like the climax is like the boiling point of all of that. The politics and the characters and the family and everything that you're building up towards is not the end of the game. It's a third or beginning of second into third act moment, and then there's a denouement that is like, I guess I don't care. That everything you dealt with, the struggle of your characters is so much realer prior to this kind of like full on but it is the most Final Fantasy thing too, to have like the idea of like the antagonist switch, and then the shift in priorities is always a bit, but how many times is it compelling, right? A lot of the times it isn't. But very cool. And I will say that the DLC for both the Rising Tide and the Echoes of the Fallen were peak action moments of the game. Like in terms of just the combat challenge, the first one in particular, Echoes of the Fallen, is incredible with like Soken, the composer of FF14, is just doing unbelievable musical. I'm in awe. I'm like, I'm making noises fighting the boss of that DLC, and then same thing for the second one as well, though a little more limited because you're not fighting on foot. You're fighting in your kaiju form, which limits how much cool shit you can do at what speed.
Sure.
But still great stuff, new abilities, etc. 16 is a good one for me, man. I do like it. I can just point out the flaws to anybody, but I can still recommend it.
Okay. One more thing before we dive in here, Woolie. And this relates to something we're going to talk about later, but I have a feeling we're going to have a lot to talk about, so I just want to bring it up now. How did it feel watching the monkey's paw curl and you learning that more Marvel is coming? It's just Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, Nen Impact, huh? So I got word on the street early on that
you passed on a message to me very early on that something is coming and that people are saying it's legit.
Keep your eyes on this, right? And then taking a look now, they've announced a new Hunter x Hunter fighting game, and yeah, that's some Marvel. It's even got 3v3s, it's got assists, it's got X Factor. It has everything except for a budget, but that's okay. It's okay because you can look at it and it's like, oh yeah, this looks like it reminds me of like Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, which is a super fun, high speed fighting game that requires a lot. That it's again, full Marvel faculties, right? Brain neurons activated. But the animations are going to be a little bit lacking in some places. Some of the, they're not going to have that extra level of detail that you're getting from like Dragon Ball FighterZ or Strive, which is blowing people away visually.
Which,
now.
like, I mean, realistically, we were never getting that for a Hunter x Hunter game.
I guess not.
Yeah.
There's a thing that's been happening that you see in Street Fighter 6, in Guilty Gear Strive, where anyone that's been blown away with how good those look visually. A lot of characters have tons of animation where they'll do a punch or a kick, and then after the punch is done, they'll have a big, like, getting back into pose, and it adds a lot, right? There's a whole thing to, like, just letting your character animate and do a bunch of secondary and tertiary animation things. And the Hunter x Hunter game footage doesn't have any of that. Someone does a move and then goes back to standing.
Yeah, I would say, like, to be harsh, the animations are pretty wooden in a lot of cases. Yeah.
But
wooden by fighting game standards. They're not. They don't look bad. They just don't look like you are not seeing, like, the typical Arc Sys level here.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is I think there was like I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but there's word is that they had like a $600K budget or something to that effect. So
that is absolutely nothing.
It's really low for a full release. Right?
That is insane. I mean, when I hear that makes me like, oh,
that's
good
what
job, guys. Wow,
that kind of money. Yeah, right?
Because like the fighting looks solid.
It does, and that's because Aiding, the company making it, they helped make Street Fighter 4. They helped make they made Bloody Roar. They're the backbone of like them and Dimps are these two like hidden fighting game companies that like works behind the scenes on a lot of good stuff. They know how to make a great fighter, and you can totally trust them with the gameplay. I
don't know about you, but Bloody Roar for me is one of those games where I love it. I'm never going to play much of it, and I have not. But what it is, it comes from such a specific era, and it has such a specific look that I just see it, and I'm like, oh man, yeah, okay, whatever, sure.
It's what it represents for sure.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, totally.
And then the only other thing I guess with Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact is that, like, when you look at that character select screen, there's 16 boxes. There are way more than 16 characters that people care about in a franchise like this. So with any luck and hope, it does well enough that they can build on that over time. But you're going to be using 3 of them at a time. So you're going to see them very often. Kind of like Skullgirls when it launched. You're going to get used to these characters very, very quickly. It's going to games that are 3v3 you get used to them because you're seeing 6 characters per match,
Sure.
And yeah, when you have a roster that small for now, like it's gonna hurt it initially. But I hope they can add to it, and that the success will let them expand and get into, whatever multiple future forms of characters there are. And hopefully we don't have Goku, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, blue, black, pink.
I think
don't waste slots on that.
The way Hunter x Hunter works, I don't think that's going to be a thing. Like, there's not a lot of multiple forms of characters in Hunter x Hunter, except one or two big exceptions. Mm-hmm. And the big exceptions is shit where I'm like, oh yeah, give that person their own slot. That would be fucking insane.
Because it's just every time a Dragon Ball game takes like Goku and Vegeta and has them take up half of the slots, it feels
I'm sorry,
bad.
Are you not excited for the first 24 characters of a game being Goku and Vegeta?
God, man.
Is that even an exaggeration? How many was that recent Dragon Ball game?
Yeah, it was there was nearly half. I think it was almost like, I think the counting Saiyans in general, there was like a 70% or so count or something. Like either there's 5 or 6 Gokus and at least 4 Vegetas, then there's the fusions as well. And I kind of like, I just wish that like there were ways that a base character could have all these forms as routes they could go into. And you can give the spotlight.
That would be interesting.
And then you can give the spotlight to some cooler people,
I remember... sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I remember early in the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi games, I couldn't understand why there was so many of these different characters. And then when I picked Super Saiyan Vegeta, and he did the exact, like, hands on the ground push-up kick that he does against Android 19, I think it is. I was like, oh, okay. All these moves are a reference to something that happens in the show. This is for lunatics like me.
Yes.
And now I kind of appreciate it. And just to mention, if you would like to hear me and Woolie talk about Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi for the PlayStation 2, you can go over to patreon.com/Versus Wolves podcast, Woolie.
That's correct. You can go
where our new Intermission Lounge episode should be released. And this time, this episode was like a grab bag of different questions from our patrons. We talked about all kinds of shit. It was super fun, including some stories that will ever only remain there for fear that we do not want them heard by too large an audience.
There's some shit that needs to stay behind closed doors at the bar. So we're going to keep it there. But yes, by all means, go check that out if you'd like to hear a little bit of extra. Grab it, pull up a seat at the bar, and we're answering some questions. And if you're listening to this and you're listening on YouTube as well, don't forget to click that subscribe. I can't believe I'm saying this now after 10 years in the game. But yes, do click it, because we want to help this new show grow. And you guys are listening to it clearly, and that's fucking awesome with the amount of reception it's getting. So thank you. And yes,
I was talking to a YouTube agent a while ago, and they're like, your numbers are so good, but you don't have, your audience doesn't have a lot of like, your audience doesn't have like the notification set. And I'm like, I just don't do that. And they're like, oh, why? Just as like, oh. And it's a weird one.
Interesting.
But look, thank you to everyone who's already subscribed to the Patreon. Already we are so blown away by it. And just again, I know we say it every episode, we fucking love doing this, and we really appreciate everyone even just watching. So thank you.
Yeah, man, this thing's going places. It's
a
lot of
places.
Fun. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, is it! Speaking of which, Woolie.
I had the as you're talking about that one Vegeta moment, the one that came to mind for me, I just wanted to jump in on, was only base Vegeta is going to grab you off the ground, throw you into the air, and do the Nappa execution move.
Hell yeah.
Because that's what base Vegeta does,
Yeah.
So,
and like, I that happens, and I'm like, that's pretty cool, though. It's pretty
The frame-by-frame
cool.
references are unbelievable. But yes.
Yeah, totally. So, Woolie, I've been watching a little show called Cybersix. I'm just going to pull up the...
That is not how that's pronounced. That is not how...
Two
is that
college
Irish...
freshmen move into their new dorm and discover a mysterious computer. Woolie, I was a little puzzled at first when you recommended me some adult entertainment.
Okay, I was like, that's not the
accent
accent then. That we're yeah, okay, right, you're right.
Yeah. When I discovered it was entertainment between two young gentlemen, I was surprised but equally intrigued. And this film really goes places, really pushes back some boundaries, and I watch.
I mean, listen,
been cooking
already.
So I had a moment when you said Cybersix, or I was like,
yes,
what?
Yes. Now, already the thumbnail for this episode is going to confuse people who are reading a little too fast. For sure. In fact, I guarantee you that the folks in the comments right now are like, oh shit, I read that too quickly.
Yeah. So I wanted to do that bit, and I looked up films. Okay, is there a porn called Cybersix? And I just Googled it. Of course! Every year you can imagine.
Right?
Anyway, we'll put that to the side. I've been watching... So, as of right now, I have completed every episode of Cybersix.
Yeah! Okay. Oh boy. That was a recommended, let's take it away.
Okay, so right away, I knew that this was something strange. Partially from the way you framed it, and I actually avoided looking up anything about the production of this show because I wanted to ask you about that, and I wanted to get to it a little bit later.
Okay.
Because just the way you sounded about it, I was like, okay, there is clearly some stuff here. This seems odd. And then when the moment I started watching it, I was like, this is fucking weird.
Uh-huh.
And it's strange for a lot of reasons, but I think one of the biggest one for me... So, from what I understand, this is a Canadian television's or children's TV show.
It is a joint production between Canada, Japan, and Argentina.
Okay. Because I watched the first episode and immediately I was like, what is with this production quality?
Yeah.
This show is gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead.
If I was to place it somewhere visually, I would say it's somewhere between the old Batman the Animated Series and the Spawn animated series.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So cuz what it is I mean, there's a whole history to this, and we'll certainly get into it, of how it came to be. But the reason why it looks the way it does is because it is, a Canadian production company, and the source material was from Argentina, and then they brought it to TMS in Japan, the animation studio, and they basically were able to go back and forth between all three countries and create this thing, which they made initially a pilot kind of preview, which a lot of the intro is made up of, which, by the way,
because
after coming into that, I really liked it because when you're watching Saturday morning cartoon shows,
there's some stuff with the intro that we will get to.
Okay. All right. I'll let you take us there.
So, this show opens up and you are seeing this woman in, this black cape and, this giant peaked hat and, this really very striking outfit. And, she's running along rooftops. She's battling these, gigantic Frankenstein mutants. And there's some shots here where there's 4 different layers of panning in the background. It's really beautiful. It really captures this movement through this city in a way that I was really surprised to see from a children's TV show I'd never heard of.
Yeah. That's what is so... All of this is you're getting it in between episodes of Angela Anaconda, you know what I mean, and sticking around. It's a weird thing to see, why is this moving and going, and there's composition. There's again rooftop giant red cape across the night sky, Spawn-esque, Trigun-esque. Like just striking visuals. And again, Batman the Animated Series is another pull there. And there's another thing too where I'm like, I haven't watched this series, but I feel like it has Aeon Flux vibes. Aeon, like
it
reminds me of
I also have not watched Aeon Flux. I have wanted to forever.
Every time I see Aeon Flux and I see girl in black tights running through obstacle courses, I'm like, oh yeah, that energy feels like what we're seeing here. Surprisingly nicely animated.
Do you ever have a piece of media where it's like you haven't experienced it, but if you like mapped out all the media you like and how it relates, this piece fits here, you just haven't seen it.
Yes.
I remember when I got real into the Yakuza games, I love the fight scenes, and I'm like, man, there's like a physicality to these fight scenes I've never seen from any other piece of entertainment. Then I started watching Japanese wrestling, and I was like, these are just Japanese wrestling matches.
It's dark matter. Like, we know it's there because of what's around it. You absolutely, you can piece it together through its absence in a way. It really is. Some of the stuff about the that art style too that is very striking is not only is it like, again, the multi-layering and things going on are really nice at times. They're also like doing so with a very distinct art style that has like characters with thick strands of cut off square hair, eyebrows that float in the sky, in the air.
So
sometimes,
strange,
right?
Yeah. And like some of the designs I think are beautiful. Some of them, and it's specifically the characters with the shaved heads. Like rather than like, I don't know, they'll draw hair in like black squares all over the character's head. It looks fucking weird.
So what that's doing is it's the art style from BDs, bande dessinée. Whenever you look at stuff from the world of Tintin and Spirou and like French and European comics, a lot of the time there'll be hairstyles kind of like that. So it's referencing a lot of that in the and of course the source material from the Argentine comic book. Like
this is a comic book.
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was the case. So what my feeling going through this entire thing is that this is because I avoided looking up anything. This is a property that's been heavily adapted to be a children's TV show.
Oh boy, is it? Yeah, we'll get there. It's
because I have some questions about some characters that I have my doubts exist in the original thing. But we'll get there.
I have answers for you, probably.
Okay, cool. So you basically start, and the whole thing is like, it's this character, Cybersix, and you can tell like she's in some conflict with some weird shadowy organization that I don't even think has a name.
Well, it's not really the organization as much as it is the individual, right? Von Richter. The evil doctor.
And he like it's weird because in the whole conflict of the first episode is that this middle school teacher gets caught up in this battle between this woman and these evil Frankenstein monsters. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing is he picks up this vial of green goo. And she wants the vial from him, but he doesn't know whether to give it to her. He doesn't understand what's happening, all this kind of stuff. And immediately that subplot disappears until the very last episode. Yeah,
it comes back in little bits and pieces, but it's in Monster of the Day pieces. It's nothing.
Yeah.
You don't really get too far into it. Sustenance is what she's after, and you see a vial or two when she defeats a couple of the monsters of the day throughout the series. But yeah, there's a whole thing to what that's actually supposed to be. And there's a reason why you don't really see much of that again until the end.
I figured. And then so this middle school teacher, the next day at school, what's this? A brand new teacher starts at school. And it's like, okay. And it's this like kind of nerdy, bookish looking guy. And immediately I was like, okay, what's happening here? Because like I kind of had an idea, but I was like, no, they're not gonna do that. But then, as it turns out, Cybersix, this like superhero lady,
in latex,
and like look, the camera,
yeah.
she's a sexy character. Like the camera is not shy about that. Like she's pretty attractive, and she is attractive in this universe, and but she is also during the day dressing up as a male middle school teacher and just teaching classes, and no one knows she's a woman.
Yeah.
And like the female student, like there's a female student, Laurie, who's like swooning over her and is like in love with her and doesn't know it's a woman. And immediately, that is so far getting into like gender shit than anything else on television of that time.
Yeah, in the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, I think this was like 2000, like on the button.
Right,
so it's fucking crazy that you see something like that.
Yeah, and it's like, and the character is like on that like androgyny line where the idea is like my Clark Kent. In my, my Bruce Wayne is going to just tuck my hair a different way and put on some glasses and talk kind of like this. This is Adrian's voice. No.
Oh yeah, Adrian is Twink Clark Kent.
That's it. And that's it. And nobody knows.
Yeah. And like I actually didn't cop it straight away just because my brain was like, well, a 2000s kids show is not going to do that.
Right.
That's too weird.
So the other thing with the secret identity being that basic as well is that's a very Zorro thing, right?
Sure.
You think about like what he puts on a black thing on his eyes and that's it. Who is he? You know what I mean? That's Black Mask. A lot of old superheroes are very like the secret identity is they're not trying that hard to be another person. Their face is exposed. I mean, hell, there was a Superman comic where it's like, how come no one can tell it's the same facial structure? And it's like, oh, like Clark Kent like makes his face vibrate in pictures so that it looks a little different every time someone takes a photo of him. Or some weird.
What?
There was one issue of Superman where they're like, yeah, that's how people never put Superman and Clark and look at them together and go, oh, it's him, because he changes the shape of his face just a little bit by making it vibrate really fast.
I mean, okay. Like, sure.
But either way, like the absurdity of like, it's clearly just you is like...
Yeah, but it's funny because so this other teacher, the blonde teacher...
Oh, Lucas,
yeah. He gets so close to figuring it out in the first episode. I was like, well, there's no way this is gonna last the entire thing. And then like cut to like episode 12 where Lucas, like all this shit happens with Cybersix, and Adrian is Cybersix's like alternate. That's his Bruce Wayne. That's his Clark Kent or her Clark Kent.
Alt ego.
And Lucas, like all this shit goes down in episode 12, and right at the end, Lucas just goes, man, Adrian would have loved this, like with Cybersix standing next to him. I was like, bro, come on.
Yeah, and you have the funny thing about the love interest as well is that Lucas, the other teacher, is like he's a pretty cool tough guy. You know what I mean? He's a big kind of brute. He's not the like a sharp and suave like debonair type. He's a boxer,
which was kind of refreshing. I thought.
Yeah, he's
this
a big galoot.
He's like a himbo Dick Gumshoe from the Phoenix Wright games.
Absolutely, right? And he's got, his best buddy, best bro Adrian, and then his mysterious potential love interest Cybersix in the windowsill, that running on the rooftops. And he's, what's going on? I don't know. My heart, huh?
And it's weird because there's a scene in the second episode where he's like, Adrian, do you want to go to the movies? They're playing a romance. And he gives him a little wink. And I was like, what? Like, and I don't know that there was any actual intention behind that, but I was just like, what is that? Like, this is insane, you know?
And I'm glad you were able to watch all this while reminding yourself of when it was happening and the context it would have been airing on, you know?
And, I never even had to look up the date. I could just tell from, like, the visual style that this was such a particular era.
And you know, while that would have been something where you're like, okay, this aired in, let's say it aired, you know, in South America, or it aired in Canada, it airs in Japan and stuff, and you're like, yeah, some of this stuff is pretty wild for the time. It also aired on Fox Kids in America.
That is shocking.
For 4 episodes. And then it was canceled.
Get this shit out of here! Why is a woman wearing a tie?
Yes. Yeah. So this is firmly in the John, you got to see this shit category, you know?
Yeah, and I copped pretty quickly that, like, that's what this was. So from there, like, the show has a fairly simple format, and it's Monster of the Week. Every week, this Von Richter scientist, although not really him, his son, Jose.
Yes.
Okay, here's my first question, Woolie.
Yeah.
So, okay, Jose is this little evil child. He's kind of like, if anyone watched Tiny Toons, I'm probably throwing out another fucking reference that our audience will have no idea of.
We're Toons, we're all the little loonies.
God, I love Tiny Toons so much. That movie fucking rules. But he's like Maximilian from Tiny Toons in that he is this very kind of spoilt little child who, like, goose steps all over the place.
John, just say it. Just say it. He's young Hitler. He's young Hitler.
I was going to go for Nazi, but okay, Hitler. Okay, he's young Hitler.
Minus the mustache. He's got the haircut. He's got the coif. He's goose stepping. And he's
big into eugenics.
Right, like, just that's your villain week to week that she's got to deal with, you know, but he's also like yay high, and he has these big shoes, and he's a little boy, and he gets angry and upset, and he spins around in chairs and slips on banana peels, and it's the dumbest, goofiest shit because he also gets so much screen time, and he gets so much dialogue.
out of the 13 episodes, I think this kid is like the villain of like maybe 9 or 10.
Most, yeah. Easy.
Yeah. Okay, here's my first question, Woolie. Does this character exist in the comics?
Jose?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he does.
And does he have the same role?
The entire history of what's going on. Okay, so the main setup for things you have to understand is insanely different, and when like I want to crack that bottle open when we're wrapping up with the main episode.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. He was one of the strangest parts to this show for me. Now, he is Hitler, so the amount of sympathy you can have for him is very minuscule. But at one point, you know the bit in films where someone is covered in oil, and like someone else will light a match and drop it on the ground, and the flames will shoot over and like blow them up. I was not expecting to see that happen a child, and that our protagonist would be the like progenitor of it, you know? Like, it was there is literally a bit where like Jose is covered in oil and he's like, Cybersix, no, and she like knocks the torch onto the oil shoots over and fucking sets this child on fire.
So the evil villain of the week every time, like this kid, there are multiple times where this would have been the villain being murdered by the hero, but if not for the Animaniacs cartoon logic, that allows him
so he will just shoot up
into the sky.
It presents some interesting moral questions. Okay, well, I have a scenario.
He gets electrocuted to death, but he doesn't because it's a gag.
Yep. So I have a scenario for you, Woolie, okay?
Yeah.
Time travel is invented, and you win a contest. And the contest is that you get to box Hitler. And you can just knock this fucker out, okay? You can just beat the shit out of him all you want. But right before the match, they're like, Woolie, listen, there was a problem with the time portal, and we have Hitler for you here, and we kind of have to go through with this. But there's just an issue. You'll see when you get out there. So you're there waiting in the ring, and next thing, like, Hitler's theme music plays. I'm sure everyone has a clear idea of what that would sound like. And a little 4-year-old boy walks out.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Exactly.
What do you do?
Exactly, right. So first of all, it's been well established by me in many bits over the years, but when it comes to time travel, I am not going any further back into the past than 1985. Quite
and you know, Woolie, I'll say even that is.
I am cutting it off the year I was born. I am not going any earlier. That's cool. Y'all can have that. I'm trying to I'm trying to not deal with some shit that might be going on.
I think I can get away to maybe like 1950, but any earlier than that,
right.
And I'm no good. I'm no good.
Yeah, you've got a cutoff point that's a little bit earlier. That is true. So the weird thing is the comic book Jose is actually not the son but a clone of the original evil Doctor.
Okay, so one of my
replacement.
biggest problems with the character of Jose is that it implies Von Richter had sex,
which we can confirm here, not quite. This is a grown lab replacement for him.
Okay, gotcha.
No. So there's a whole lot of episodes here where not much goes on.
No, and it's Monster of the Week, but when this show is nailing it, it is doing Monster of the Week so fucking good.
Okay, yes.
I think a big part of that is a lot of these monsters, the way they're presented, like their animation and everything, some of them are genuinely, like, horrifying.
So that's... Like, yeah. What are your episodes?
And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, and I'm really not like, we need to be careful what media we show our kids. Like, if I have kids, they're going to see some shit, okay? Mm-hmm. But, like, at the same time, I'm like, I know some friends who have kids, and their kids are, like, kind of sensitive. So they're the kind of kids that will just get upset if they see something that's, like, a little too intense and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a show I would probably be like, I don't know that this is for them, because like even in the second episode, it's like or the third episode, it's the monster is basically No Face from Spirited Away.
Yes.
And it is a horrifying version of No Face. Mm-hmm. And then then Cybersix like defeats it or whatever, and it goes back to the lab and they make it an even more fucked up version of No Face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa. And that to me was a big, like, I think I start to see why Woolie wants me to see this.
Yeah.
There's some kind of particular episodes I want to talk about later that I just think absolutely, like, nail the concept. But I also wanted to just talk about, like, one of the coolest, like, sidekick characters I've ever seen. Data 7.
Data 7. Yeah, roar.
He's so fucking... Data 7 is just the Panther.
It's a Black Panther.
Little boy... It's just a little boy who has been genetically modified into a fully grown Black Panther.
Correct.
And it's awesome. And like when you see Data 7 standing with Cybersix, you're like, fuck yes, right? That is so cool.
And so you must be asking yourself now, with this superhero standing on the rooftops and Data 7 there, what are his powers? What does he bring to the table? Data 7 brings the powers of being a Black Panther.
Yeah, he's a motherfucking panther, and that's what he can do.
And that's it. He's just
and that's all he needs. I get the feeling he's like a particularly cool panther, but he's just a panther.
That's it. That is it. And he's there to help, but also so that the pose on the night sky looks awesome.
Oh my god, it looks so good.
The two of them really... standing side by side, for the visual.
Yeah. And so then, like, we meet a few other characters. We meet is it Rodrigo, the little boy?
Little kid? Julian,
yeah.
Julian. He's got a little two-cat.
Julian's special ability is that he has mastered the cat's cradle.
Mm-hmm.
And that, if you're unfamiliar, it's a thing where you get like string and you put it between your fingers and you can make shapes with it and stuff. And you know, well, I don't want to make any enemies here, but I'm just gonna say, if that's the skill that you're putting all your XP points in, I don't think that's someone I would hang out with.
Well, to be fair, Julian is he's the kid insert that is like, hey, you can relate, because you know you're a kid watching it, you want to be able to relate, so they always do that, right? They, you know, it's funny, like in the show Reboot, which I'm a big fan of. There's the little kid character that was like not planned to be there. They're like, just put some Enzo in there, right? And like Enzo being little boy in Italian. And they put in a character that's a little boy literally called Enzo, you know? Like, it's that kind of character where it's like, you need the little kid that kids are going to relate to. And he's a little street urchin, you know what I mean? Like, he's pickpocketing, he's a street kid, down on his luck. But, you know, he kind of helps here and there, and he's
not the worst. He's not the worst.
He's as far as annoying kid characters go.
Even as a kid, I always disliked the kid characters.
Mm-hmm. I hated them. Hate them because I'm like, I know what you're trying to do here.
But then, who are they for?
I did not want I guess people younger than you at the time, you know, like the people that want to self-insert really as that kid. But I'm like, when the Blue Ranger became a little boy my age in Power Rangers, I hate that shit. I'm like, no, the older kids are cooler, you know? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I don't need it to look like me or sound like me or have my age to be able to, you know, self-insert or appreciate that. I mean, shit, look at, like, there's a whole lot of video games I could not self-insert into. I got used to not being able to do that, you know? Sure. So, yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah. And then you had Laurie as well, who to me is like one of the most underused characters of it. I loved Laurie. I thought she was great. Her character is that she's a mean teenager.
Yeah. And she's like, she's a mean teenager that keeps recurring as well. And like, you know, she's got her little gang and posse that she rolls with. And she's so much worse in the comics too. Like, she's a really legitimate problem. Like, she is a problem. Yeah.
So what kind of stuff are we talking?
I mean, like that, like her aggression at hitting on young nerdy teacher Adrian is way more intense and problematic.
Okay, yeah, because in that first episode, I was, you know, she gives him a little love
hard eyes,
whatever, and I was like, okay, this was made in the 2000s, and I don't think people understood that, like, this ain't cute. You know, but so it's like, whatever. If it's worse than that,
the love letter. What did it say in when she gave it?
I think it just says, "I think I love you."
Okay, and she's like, "Hi" or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
And it's real cartoony, like it's whatever.
In the comic book, that love letter that she had says, "I'm not wearing any panties."
Oh. Well, that's different.
That's very different, John.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not the same thing.
I liked her a lot. I thought she was great. I totally would have had a crush on her if I had watched this when I was a kid. Also, on that note, I would have loved this if I had seen this as a kid, for sure. Like, I felt a nostalgia for this show having never heard of it.
Okay, cool.
And I think that's because it was just drinking from so many of the same waters from shit I loved. And it's that very specific genre of, like, kids show that is just a little too mature to be a kid's show.
Correct.
And I would say you could throw your Batman the Animated Series. Gargoyles is
Gargoyles
fucking ruled.
This is absolutely, yes, Gargoyles is peak. This is not for me. This is for someone older than me, but they're letting me see it. Holy shit, this rules.
Yep.
Shakespeare references, like what fucking grade 6 kid is pulling off all of those, you know?
If people are unfamiliar with gargoyles, our editor Foxcade has a fantastic video about gargoyles that you can check out, and we'll throw that in the description as well.
For me, it's the moment in the intro where the song is playing, and at the same time the music is hitting, they're syncing up Goliath climbing up the building, so it's like, I love how it was so much more mature than the Disney afternoon was delivering at the time, incredible.
Yeah,
but this is that flavor. I am curious, because I'm like, for me, I feel like there's 3 episodes. It's only 13 episodes long, right? Yep. 4 if you were in America, and then it got washed off. But it continued airing in Canada and elsewhere. And there's 3 episodes in particular I can think of where, like, it feels like those things you're describing, the references and the concepts and like the disturbing stuff, are kind of like really nailing it and doing a good job. One I feel is like there's an episode that's an homage to the birds, right?
Yes.
And it's just it is straight up, you're doing your Hitchcock, you're doing your, like,
you look outside, there's all these birds just everywhere, completely still, looking at people, and it's like, I see what we're doing here.
Yep. And they're a menace. They're horrifying. They're aggressive. And everyone's being like, oh, look at the cute little birdies. And then the birds are fucking, Mm-hmm. There's that. So they fully just pull a reference off there. There's one that is great. The Eye.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so it's this eyeball, and like the eyeball by itself looks horrifying. It looks like it kind of shouldn't really belong in this show, which actually makes it work as like this nearly otherworldly thing. If it looks you in the eye, it wipes your mind. Yeah. And you just you blue screen, you human blue screen.
It is a weird, like, half Metroid monster, half eldritch creature. Yeah, that just floats, and it's again way too terrifying of a concept for the time slot this was in.
Yep.
And every time it wipes somebody and blue screens them, it grows in size.
Yeah, and like the first time I saw it, I was like, is the model off? Like, why is it bigger? It gets gargantuan, and there's one particular shot of it just looming above the city.
Yeah.
That would have fucked me up a little as a kid, definitely.
And every time, and it's floating above the city, and then, like, as it gets bigger, everyone that's looking at it is just getting taken, so you're just seeing it absorbing the souls as it floats over the city.
It floats over a football stadium.
And it's just growing and growing and growing. You're like, what is how are we going to deal with this? Yeah, 100%.
And, like, that's kind of what's interesting about a lot of the episodes. I think, like, the monsters, like, they are all kind of, Saturday morning kids monster ideas. They're always portrayed with this, there's like a kind of darkness to them, like they are frightening.
Or sadness.
Yeah, and like the No Face is a good example earlier, where he kind of realizes that he's sort of like this fucked up thing, and it's weird, or it kind of made me laugh. The episode with the goblins.
Oh,
They call them goblins. Those are fucking gargoyles.
They're gargoyles. They're stone gargoyles. Yes.
That really gave me did you ever see the old wrestling clip of the Yeti?
No.
Okay, so there's this was during the pre-NWO years of WCW, when Hulk Hogan was basically fighting a bunch of guys in Halloween costumes.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is ringing a bell. Yeah.
And at one point, a mummy walks out, and it's like full-on mummy, hands out in front of it, covered in bandages.
Yes.
And the title card comes up, The Yeti.
Yeah. Okay, right. Around the era when Hulk Hogan goes to the Dark Realm or goes to Hell, and and there's an evil, like, actual villain on a throne, and he's just being being a cartoon character. 100%. Yeah. No, and then again, in terms of just like the horror and then the sadness as well. The No Face episode was one that had like a tragic villain there, and then the other one was Griselda, the blue invisible girl.
Yeah,
right. That episode was like, whoa, that's a villain that was like another person that she had to handle. That wasn't just a monster, It was like and then like that's another kind of like tragic one too. The way that plays out.
Yeah, and I would say that. To me, when the show got away from Jose, is when I got really in, and I started to get proper invested. To me, Jose always brought it back to this kind of like a little bit rinky-dink children's show, silly villain. But when it went away from him are the episodes I really, really started to enjoy. And I want to talk about my favorite episode, but before I do, to me, there is one piece of this show that I have to say nosedived the experience a little.
Can I take a guess?
You can take a guess.
Is it the detective?
No.
Not...
No. Okay, we can talk about the detective. Because I did want to bring that up as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. There is a...
So, what I'm going to say, cool character. Oh my god, that design.
Yeah. It's rough.
It's bad in a way that you thankfully do not see anymore, in the way, sometimes like Asian characters are traditionally depicted in media this era.
Yeah, there's a detective. I forget if his name is it's like either Hashimoto or Torimoto or something.
I think it's Hashimoto.
Hashimoto, and he's just the character that is getting punched by Captain America in an old war bond 1940s poster. Like,
yeah, it's rough.
Right? It is just a full-on Asian caricature with big teeth and glasses, and it is nuts, And then
like his little sister is the same. Yeah, and it sucks because, like, aside from that,
they're great
he's
characters.
A cool character. They're like he was this really interesting X factor in that episode. Like, he sort of wasn't a good guy, he wasn't a bad guy, and he introduced this like really interesting dynamic. But that design.
Yeah, he's an interesting boy genius, kind of like brought into things and looking out for his sister. But yeah, that design is rough. And the thing is that design looking that way is another element that is carrying over what is faithful in its elements from the comic book. Because there are other character designs in that comic book, which I'll touch on, that are equally like, what the fuck, man?
Okay.
Like, the caricature...
I guess that's not surprising.
Yeah. So, like, that's kind of like one thing that carried over, but...
Yeah, I think with this stuff, like, it's always good to recognize it. It's good to acknowledge that, like, this was probably made like 28, 30 years ago now, but it's still, watching it in the modern day, it's
a speed bump. You're gonna hit that and go, whoa, what?
Yeah, that's what it was for me. Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So unfortunately, that was not the elements that dragged down, I felt, a lot of this show. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Okay. If it's not that, and we've talked about No Face, we've talked about the Griselda, where she was like a cool, that blue invisible girl. She looked like she belonged in almost like out of like Ninja Scroll or something. She's like an anime character running around.
She was awesome. I saw her and I was like, I am strapped in for this entire episode.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you another question, Woolie. When was the last time you watched this show?
Actually, not too long ago, in preparation to recommend it.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. I wanted to get it a little fresher in my brain because, I mean, childhood is like a long-ass time ago.
So did you watch the whole thing?
Pretty much.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm trying to take this seriously. I want to have a good conversation about it, and I can't do so if I'm vaguely remembering distant things.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is it the cop episode?
No.
Okay. No, I don't know. Which one?
So, I feel like I'm going to upset some Canadians here, but I gotta be real. I think this show has some of the worst music I have ever heard in any show.
Oh, man! The score or the... Okay, go.
All of it.
Oh, no!
All of it.
Oh, dude, yeah, you're doing it. You're torching some bridges right now. Because... in particular, one of the other standouts, and I brought it up earlier and you stone-faced me, you sandbagged, but the intro and the outro were surprisingly mature melodic themes for, again, a Saturday morning cartoon block, right? The music, the intro theme was like, that shit was like, oh my god, this is it was again a romantic theme, you know? And then the ending one as well, with the vocals and everything, it just had a different energy from the usual expectation of what you're getting on the Fox block. So I loved those themes in particular. I thought they were great.
Okay,
and then everything
so the themes...
in the show is very like European France accordion, Amélie Poulain, you know?
I mean, you know, in a way, Woolie, this is what I heard for the majority of the music in this show.
Oh, God. Resident Evil Director's Cut, Mansion Basement. Yes, clowns farting in the basement. I know, I don't even have to click play.
Okay, look, for everything great we've talked about this show, imagine 95% of it covered with this dear viewer. And like, I just think I have never heard a soundtrack fucking just cut the atmosphere in half every time it kicks in.
Oh man.
Like, part of me is like, oh my god, imagine rescoring this show. Imagine doing something cool with the score of this show. But it just, like, something cool would happen, and then some fucking accordion music kicks in. Yes. And
it's trying... It's really trying to bring about... So the city is Meridiana. Meridiana. And they're trying to bring about an extremely European old country vibe. Cobblestone streets, and so the accordion and the Amélie music, which I love Amélie music, mind you, is really going heavy from moment to moment in that series. But I wanna carve out the intro and outro from that. I do, because it's almost the opposite of Berserk, where, and I'm gonna invoke fucking Berserk right now. I am, because the score in that show is immaculate. Forces, all of that. I forget the composer's name, but you know, the Paranoia Agent, Paprika shit, incredible, right? Love everything about the score in the thing. That goddamn fucking put your grasses on, nothing will be wrong, you know, bullshit intro and outro are the worst shit ever, and I hate them. And I fucking... I loathe the intro and outro to that show, dude. I love the in-show music. Those songs are terrible. I won't hear it. I won't hear it. And I feel...
No, okay, hang on. I am genuinely confused. You hate the intro. You hate the intro to 90s Berserk?
Yes.
But you like Forces and all the other stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Look, I will say it's an unusual pick for Berserk. Dude!
And this is the opposite, where the intro and outro I like, and the in-show music you can do without. I can follow that. I feel like it's an inverted Berserk here. Those, dude, put your glasses on, nothing will be wow.
I know what the song sounds like, Woolie. It's in my running playlist.
Wait, so that, you were into that, but you bounced off the pillows in FLCL? How the fuck?
I don't recall saying anything about the pillows, Woolie.
How did you, like, what? All right. Anyway, oh man, yeah. And you know what? This one I'll take all the heat on that. I've been fighting it for years. That show's fucking amazing, and it sounds amazing. God damn it, skip me past that intro and that outro. You know. Anyways. So
sometimes I am partial to, like, the really nearly weirdly out of place intro. Outlaw Star has an outro that barely feels like it connects to the rest of the show.
Oh, I only remember the intro. I don't remember the Outlaw Star outro.
you will remember if you look it up. It will immediately be like, "Oh shit!"
Okay.
You know.
I have
but,
the Kessenide song going in my brain. Yeah.
One of the best anime intros of all time, right?
Incredible.
Yeah. So look, with the intro to this show, like the intro is this. It's a song about how love will help us survive.
There's a time when the moon reveals its face in the clouds. I let out a sigh and I wonder out loud. But deep in my heart, there is love so alive. In the depths of my soul, I know we will survive.
There's something incredibly surreal about you just sitting there in a suit singing this song. Okay. Look, I just...
But deep in my heart, I feel love so alive. In the depths of my soul, I know we will survive. Survive. Cybersix.
Are you done?
I am done.
Do you need another minute?
I'm good.
Okay. Good. Look, you know, Woolie, I'm a being of the nether. I don't relate to themes of hope.
Okay.
It's just that's it with that song, you know.
And when the outro is playing and it's like I will remember you, and it's soft and it's like sad, and it's the theme that you hear on the gondola, and you know you're seeing Adrian and Lucas, and that didn't.
I think I'm just not European enough.
Damn, I'm not European at all, and I really yeah, and that's not
shocking me,
and not just nostalgia, because at first, as a kid, I couldn't believe how different those intros and outros were from everything else, and that was like a whoa. But then I liked it, and I watched it and got used to it. But now rewatching it, I'm like, no, I still love these. I think they're still bops. Yeah,
I would say I did not care for them.
Okay, all right,
without any real hostility or criticism. Like, just this isn't my thing. You know, the soundtrack of the show itself was the most clown farty shit I have ever heard.
Oh no.
And it was a shame because like there were moments where like I felt like the visuals, the voice acting also, by the way, phenomenal. Great stuff. The visuals were working so hard to bring me in. It was clearly like so many people brought their A game to this show.
I will say that Jose feels like the child reading the script in front of him at the microphone, like sometimes, because he's a child voice actor. He's carrying some scenes, and in other scenes it's you know. But
I thought Jose was okay. I thought he was good.
He had a lot. He had a lot on his plate.
What that character is. If that's a child voice actor, I think that's pretty impressive. But I just felt like the music of this show was like a hole in it that was constantly sucking all the atmosphere from it. Okay. And it really, I have to say, like, it did drag down the experience a lot for me, because I think you could have something so much darker and more in line with the general vibe of this show, and it's a bummer. I feel like we don't.
Yeah. Okay. I hear that. I'm not gonna go to bat for the soundtrack during the show.
Okay, cool. It's great that you just spent 20 minutes going to bat for the soundtrack. Although no, okay. You were going to bat for the intro, outro, which I am nowhere near as opposed to. And it was just, I felt like out of all the episodes I watched, and I liked quite a few of them, I don't know that there was any real misses in there for me. Like, for the most part, I was always entertained. I was always like, you know yourself, Woolie, when you have to sit down and watch something, it's not quite the same as like just experiencing it yourself. And when something drags, it really starts to drag. I never felt that with this. Like the entire time, I was like, no, I'm having a good time.
Okay.
It was always, and like Michelle watched some of it as well, and she was like, this is kind of cool.
Because I remember like, I definitely felt that, as soon as we get away from the Looney Tunes villain, shit gets a lot better every time, for sure.
Every time. That's
clear.
Every single time.
but whenever it did drag with the Looney Tunes villain, when Jose was running around and like tripping up over the Frankenstein monsters and they're getting burnt in the butt and running away and stuff, as I was going through that, I was like, this is part of the experience, but like I wouldn't blame John if he kind of went like, yeah, I kind of wanted to fast forward through these bits,
So I don't think I ever got to the point where I wanted to fast forward through it. I'd say if they had leaned into it much more than they did, we would totally be there. I think, a part of it is just I thought the animation for Jose was really good.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is those bits at the time, again, back in the 2000, at the time, they were the ones that made it actually fit with the rest of that cartoon afternoon block. Those goofy moments were the right appropriate age and time for what was coming before and after the show. And then the others were the standouts.
Yeah. I would say the whole thing with me in this show is like the moments that I feel like it's trying to appeal to like children's TV, like the amount of Jose you get. Marcus, is that the kid's name?
Julian.
And for me especially, the soundtrack. The soundtrack to me was real Rugrats, except worse, children's TV soundtrack. And when it is being pulled in that
God,
direction,
the Rugrats soundtrack, that took a second. Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
Woolie, let me tell you, the Rugrats soundtrack is executed with such infinitely more skill in this show. I don't mean to keep stabbing you in the heart here, buddy.
Like this. No, it's rough. You're right.
But those are the moments that, like, the show is kind of losing me, and then when that stuff faded away, and particularly in episode 10, I did feel, but like there's some moments where they would do something like darker and synthier, and it worked so well, and I was like, why aren't we getting more of this, But those are the moments when it loses me. But like when it gets away from that, and I feel like Cybersix is its own thing, those are the moments where I was like, this is fucking cool. Like, I am enjoying this show. It is sitting right alongside all the other shit I was into when I was a kid.
Cool. And you can, as you said, though, you can feel what you're looking at is being adapted down
Big
from
time.
Yes, right? Look at just the premise of a heroine in tight leather and latex and the implications of this goose-stepping child and so on. You're like, I don't know what you're supposed to be, but this is the sanitized version. You're fucking dead on. So if I may,
please.
The original Cybersix, the comic, by Carlos Trillo and Carlos Meglia, not for kids, because the premise of where she comes from is that Von Richter, the father of the little child Jose kid, is actually a for real Nazi doctor.
My God! Okay, I have avoided looking up this comic because I didn't want. Oh my God!
You're looking at the visuals.
How did someone decide this to be a kids show?
It's crazy, dude.
There's so many titties.
Yeah. So
what the fuck? Okay, hang on.
No, you just Google search Cybersix comic and scroll down. Right? Like,
I just sent you a cover there.
Yeah, exactly. Source material is not. This is it's a weird pull that got to kids TV. And the name being a double entendre is not an accident, right? So here's what's up.
Are you serious?
So this Argentinian comic book it came out, and in that, the original premise is this isn't Von Richter is an actual Nazi doctor who escaped to the Brazilian jungle and is running like straight up Nazi experiments on Jewish prisoners held in internment camps, right? That's what the beginning backstory that you don't really get that's implied at is, okay?
Okay.
She's one of the kids that escapes with Data 7, right? The other kid who becomes the Panther. But she does so with the help from a black slave who's part of the like plantation slaves that are like there, and that guy that helps like raise her and helps her escape is full on Black Sambo, big thick lips, caricature style, like straight out of the old minstrel show days kind of thing. Sure. Really insane caricature. But the idea is like that's one of the things that she comes from. She then basically is that whole thing of she's looking for sustenance, the little vials or so. Yeah, I can. Your face is like, because you're looking through the source material, right?
I just there's so many titties on these covers.
Yeah, for sure.
I am okay. I'm gonna put this away.
The premise is that she has to go after other artificial humans, and she vampirically sucks the sustenance blood out of them to survive, right?
Like with her teeth?
She sucks out their energy, and like that's how she continues existing, by killing these other artificial humans that are made creations of the Nazi doctor. And they don't pop into a vial of green goo. She like has to take them out. So that's what she's doing the whole time, which is why they just quickly replaced it with the vial thing. And the outfit she's wearing in the show, you kind of see it in the windows of like a mall shop at one point or so. In the comic, she has to steal it off of a dead prostitute, and that's what she's wearing. And her ID is she happens to witness a car crash with a child in it named Adrian, and she's a kid as well, and she takes the dead kid's ID and becomes him, and that's how she blends into society after escaping from the internment camp. That's what the original source material is. It's crazy. And then that is what got shopped to around to get adapted, right? And
it's genuinely just like, okay, we have a new TV show. We're developing it off this hot 80s movie called Boogie Nights, and it's for children.
John, you're missing an entire step here. It did not go from this comic book straight to Fox Kids.
Okay.
It went from this comic book to television in Argentina. It became a telenovela. And you need to watch this live action clip. I'm gonna send you right here of the Cybersix commercial.
Okay, and give me 1 second. I gotta log into Vimeo.
Okay, check this shit out. It is crazy. I mean, I don't know what the best way. Yeah, maybe we should pull this up. All right, hold on. Give us a second.
I got it.
Maybe do a screen share.
Okay, do you want me to screen share?
Yeah. Let's.
Fox, you work your magic here. I am in such disbelief that this exists.
Flummoxed is the right word. Okay, so.
Okay, Fox, we're at 0-0, and I am going to hit play.
Full screen
now. This looks. Oh my god. Oh my god. This really looks like a porno.
Look at that, dude. Flipping around buildings, super low budget. Oh.
Oh my, okay.
Explosions.
Woolie, I did not know we were going here.
Romance. That's Lucas, by the way. That's Lucas.
I mean, the actress they got definitely has that look. Oh that's my god!
That's Von Richter, the evil scientist. Yeah, there you go. Right?
Wow. Okay.
It became that live action TV show that aired for a while. And so that was the first step of like changing it from the comic a little bit more into something for TV. And it's like, again, the romance of them together and then her flipping off, and there's no money. This thing was made on $20, right? But
yeah,
but they had
that is one of the most low budget looking things.
Incredible. And then that now gets adapted when a new animation project was being like I think there was like a grant that was going to be given out to new projects. Canada has a lot of things where if you have a new something that's Canadian developed, the government will help fund it as well, so you can get, you know, grants and things like that going. And I think they kind of just pitched this show, and then how do we turn what you just watched into a kid's cartoon? So it's two steps removed while also being faithful to some of the adaptation of the comic, but then also going
I would
completely
say
in the other
like,
direction.
The visual adaptation of the comic is like as good as you could hope for from a children's TV show.
But what I said at the end of last episode is, John, this show should not exist.
Yeah, no.
It is
that
crazy.
Makes imminent sense now.
Yeah. It is insane that's what we got, you know? What a vibe. What an insane vibe. And look, I don't know that any of the kids who are listening to this that like grew up that are like, yo, I remember Cybersix. I know a lot of you guys are out there. Like, we fucking watched every rerun when it used to air and shit. But the origin source of material on this shit is batshit. You know?
It's fucking crazy. This is when I have the same feeling of when I learned that. Do you remember the Gentle Ben bit in The Simpsons?
What was that again?
It's when there's a talk show and there's a bear with a microphone on his head.
Okay.
No, Ben, no, Woolie.
Oh yes. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
To me, that's a front runner for maybe the best Simpsons joke of all time.
Right.
Incredible.
Right.
I learned that was an actual show.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen the trailer for Gentle Ben, Woolie?
The real thing? No.
Okay, well, just you gotta see this shit, dude.
Oh God, what are we doing?
So, how do you feel about child actors being constantly around fully grown bears?
Oh no! Oh my God, that's a real bear.
It's a very real bear, Woolie.
Oh fuck! And there's cubs too. What the shit? Oh God, they were. Oh man, the 60s.
Yep.
Okay.
You could just get away with that, and like there's so many scenes where the child is like tied to the bear.
Every time this bear is on its hind legs, I'm like, how many whips did it take? You know, it wasn't just peanut butter and snacks, man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
The Wikipedia article to that show is it's a read.
I mean, I think I might have told you at some point about Milo and Otis, the movie that was like about a dog and a cat on an adventure, and it's this old movie that people remember, and it's the dog and cat big adventure, yay, cute. And you go to the Wikipedia and find out that like when they made this movie, they just ran through replacement dogs and cats because every time they filmed a dangerous scene, they lost one, and they just kept going, and it's insanity.
So, okay, one of the fucking craziest things I've ever heard with this stuff is there's a YouTuber in Praise of Shadows who I'm a big fan of, and he does like a lot of horror content. He recently did a video on like all the most dangerous films. Okay. And one of them was there was this basically gorilla who was like a movie star in like the 50s or 60s. And he's the gorilla who the gorilla from Nope was based on.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And the shit in that video is so much more insane than the shit. Like, it's full on, like, yeah, he mauled people, he did all this stuff. He also had they gave him his own room in the zoo with keys that he could come and go as he pleased, and he would wear suits. So there was just a full-on gorilla that could walk around the zoo freely. And one night, Woolie, so the key was the same key for every animal, because I guess they never thought that the animals would like. He released like 3 elephants and like 12 wolves.
Oh my god.
It's fucking insane.
Oh,
it's so crazy.
When fucking just idiots are like, "Oh no, we've trained him well. He will listen. He is not a wild animal." I mean, yeah, well, Nope just nails it, right? It's like, it's the fucking wild. What is wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Look, this little Jack Russell Terrier here, it's fine. It's okay. We have domesticated it over so many generations. Don't adopt a fucking chimp, okay?
And don't bring a birthday cake.
No.
And that's like Cybersix.
And that's like Cybersix, which means we now must place Cybersix in the pantheon of greatness.
Oh shit. Hit the world of goo music. So, on the pantheon of greatness, what are you feeling the placement of Cybersix should be? I mean, we can, we don't have like the step by step. We can. I have an idea of where I think it should go, but I'm curious what your feelings are here.
Okay, it's better than Omicron, obviously.
We're moving past Omicron.
It's a much better experience than missing a fighting game tournament.
Correct.
Is Cybersix better than Police Knots? Okay, here's what I'd say. For me, Police Knots had higher highs and lower lows.
Cybersix,
I think, is the more enjoyable experience.
But it crunches those two ends together.
Yeah. I think the strongest thing I felt from Cybersix was I was having a pretty good time. Police Knots, there was points where I was like, this is fucking incredible. And there was points where I was like, this is dog shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, in my mental list, I put it in the exact same place.
So does it go above or below Police Knots?
I put it below. But
I think in between Police Knots and missing a fighting game tournament is the place for it.
Okay. That feels right to me. That feels right.
That feels good. I mean, look, it's a quality list, and if you're coming that far down, I understand. But there is, let me tell you, as the person who has experienced both this year, missing a fighting game tournament is so much worse than Cybersix. There is a long distance between those two things.
Yeah. Now, I know people as well have said, like, but hold on, what about the updates, like experiencing a fighting game tournament and things like that? And it's like, that did happen, but at the time of list creation, these are the entries.
I think what people need to understand is that the listing process is a complicated scientific undertaking that forms over the course of doing this podcast, okay? Of, like, literally doing, like, you guys don't see it, but, like, me and Woolie, at our hands, we're taking notes, we have calculators, we're punching numbers in. This is, like, a really scientific, objective thing. And unless we can push an experience through that form, it can't rank.
Just writing for hours on a blackboard with a really complicated formula, sweating a montage of all the chalk, and then turning the blackboard around to just say, but shut up though.
Yeah. Me and Woolie will literally ship each other the blackboards we work on so that we can check each other's work. It's massively expensive. It's why we need the Patreon. We have not found a more cost-efficient way of doing it. But that is what has to happen if we're gonna rank things properly. Sounds
good. Yes, I agree with that. Okay.
Cool. And I would just say, if people want to watch it, all of Cybersix is on YouTube. It's just there.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on Vimeo. It's on people have uploaded it for preservation's sake. It's not hard to find.
Yeah, and I would really
intact
recommend
with intro and outro.
Yeah, I would really recommend episode 10, which I believe is the werewolf one. But
I would say,
if you do dip your toe in, watch an episode and then Google the comic.
Right.
Do not Google it at work.
I would even say, so I was going to say 9 and 10.
9 and 10 is a good one.
9 is the eye. Right.
Yes.
That's back to back. So when I was saying at the end of last episode, I was like, let's say you don't get through all of it. I was saying just get to 9 and we'll go up from there. Because 9 is the eye, 10 is the werewolf, And then 11 is the circus or whatever, the random episode with that.
That was a very Jose heavy episode.
Yeah, but the one right after that is the blue devil girl, the invisible girl,
which is great.
So you get a nice
Cybersix dies.
you get a nice sequence of like 3 or 4 really good episodes right next to each other. So that's the back half.
But super interesting pick, Woolie. Like, what a journey, especially that I am going to. I may think more about that Argentinian trailer than I do the show itself.
Oh man, like when I found out about that, I lost my shit. It made everything make so much more sense while making even less. You know, it's like, what is this mystery wrapped in an enigma?
That is how I feel. I feel like I feel like everything. I feel like I understand less after seeing that. Like, this show, I know you were saying like the Argentinian trailer is like this the missing link between the show, the comic, and the cartoon. To me, this all makes more sense without the live action show.
Right, sure. But it doesn't explain why, again, the show was doing things like with the gender bit, and then some of the overall a lot of maturity getting filtered down.
Man, now I really want to see what the live action show does with the gender bit.
No idea, you know. But you're getting it's a coffee drip filter of a very mature thing down into this like sanitized TV version, down into like something for children, you know. And that's it, man. Yeah, I'm glad you got that, because like I'm like, this is the kind of thing where I'm like, I want to pull something that you're never gonna encounter, that would not cross your desk for any other reason.
Yeah,
you know?
And there's gonna be some weird picks. Like, so, I like, they might not be coming. There's 1 or 2 picks I have, and look, let's leave it at that.
Okay, you know. But that's my idea of a good time, you know. And other times there's just the unexpected straight punch, isn't there?
Yes, there is, Willie.
Okay. Do you want to switch your headphones over to the black ones now, or how are we doing this?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know, John. What does it mean? Okay. So, if I can just button up a little bit, get proper. Although when you're seated, you're supposed to unbutton, right? That's proper etiquette.
That is correct.
Yeah, you top button when you stand up. You sit down. And then that's it, you know. So, all right.
Woolie, what is happening? Like,
I figure we should start. Since we're now having the real conversation about Hunter x Hunter that we didn't get to have, right? What was he think? What's the fit? How does it? You know, because we did. Yes, the thing is with Gone in 60 Seconds. I was watching legitimately every episode as we were going with each one. Oh yeah,
we took that part really seriously.
Very much so, you know, and here's the deal. As far as Hunter x Hunter goes, I like it. I really like it. It's fun. It's a really fun shonen. And the energy that it has is really interesting, because I was never sure where to peg it. Back in the day, the 1999 franchise. So again, we're just curtains being pulled back. We're going all in, right?
Yep, this is it.
This is the moment. We've arrived. From the 12 or so episodes I watched of the original 1999 series, the impression I got was that like this was it's a kids anime show, you know. It's like it's coming in aimed at a much younger audience because of Gon and his overall energy and outlook. The feeling I'm getting with the newer series from that same point in time early on is Gon is this character that has this, you know, he's a naive child and he's innocent, but the world is not. And
no.
And whereas I was kind of like expecting the world to be a reflection of the protagonist and, you know, the energy that brings, because a lot of shows do that. Here, it feels like we're taking young Goku, he's gonna show you. He's gonna help you find a way. Right, we're taking Dragon Ball Son Goku child and dropping him into the Cell Saga. Right? It feels...
That's a good way of thinking of it.
It feels a bit like that. And so as we watched those first episodes, right, I'll say the extended series of episodes 1 through 24 was what we had watched. All the way up until the little black girl gets shot. What the fuck?
At that point, we felt it inappropriate to continue further.
Right, yeah. No, it did. It went through. You had your tournament arc. You had your introduction of like the multiple cast of characters that gets. You can pick your favorites and all that. And I kind of go over a little bit of that in the things I'm rambling about in the 60 seconds. I am giving my thoughts. Like it's interesting, and there's enough breadcrumbing to see like, okay, what's the deal with these characters? Like, oh, what's Leorio got in that briefcase? What's Kurapika's full truth? What are we getting here? And you get little hints about the revenge and the hints at Gon's dad and the Zoldyck family and stuff. And so the first big like, whoa, holy shit, is the final phase of that tournament arc being in an inverted tournament where there's only one loser is a really interesting, unexpected twist to the formula that you're watching, that you expect to follow this formula. Hunter x Hunter, originally, where in the massive shonen timeline does it exist? Like, this is post Dragon Ball,
much earlier than you would think.
But it's not that late, right? We're not getting into the Bleach era or the One Piece era. We're getting
let me look it up. I want to get the exact year right. But I always am shocked at just how early it is.
Yeah, because to me, I'm like, it's like post Dragon Ball, pre.
Okay,
One
so
Piece.
its first chapter released in 1999, I believe.
Oh, what? That anime was the same year?
Oh, maybe I have that. No, okay, no. Its first chapter dropped in 90. Its first chapter dropped in 98, March 3rd, 1998.
Oh my god! So the first adaptation was while the show, the anime, or while the manga was just coming out.
Hence why all the pace of it, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So this is really a Hunter x Hunter Brotherhood situation.
Yes.
FMA original series. I mean, I'm one of the few. God bless it. I still like it. I know.
Oh man, I loved that original series. Loved it.
Yeah, but it was coming out at the time that the manga hadn't even wrapped up. Mm-hmm. So that makes a lot of sense now. It is definitely that world of like your character is innocent, but the world is not, and you're gonna see people affected by Gon's overall positive outlook and demeanor, and that's gonna be infectious, and the tone of the world will be made brighter because Gon is a bright child.
Yes.
But that does not mean people will not be dying left and right.
So this is a big part of what I love about this show. It is like, okay, you have this little kid, he is not the most powerful character, nowhere close, and he never really is. But he does, his positivity can infect people, and he can kind of show people that there's a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
Until in some distant future he may meet characters that does not apply to. Okay. And that's interesting, but that's far off. But Woolie, before we say anything else, I'm aware that I think there's going to be listeners to this podcast who perhaps are not aware of the history of me and you and this show.
You know what? That's true. Because when it came up, and there was a big. We ended on a very large cliffhanger, and with that came. Wait, is there some previous history behind these two?
Oh boy, is
and
there?
Hunter x Hunter?
So listen, I feel like I've told the story of this so many times. I am curious to hear it from your perspective. I guess the origin story that eventually led to us recording this podcast.
Well, the problem, John, is that for me it was Tuesday. So I can barely remember.
Okay. been a while since I took a shot that hard on a podcast, but I can rally. I can keep moving. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. In fact, that didn't hurt. That wasn't some kind of existential blow to the last decade. I'm fine. Did you like the cartoon?
Many years ago on the Super Best Friend cast, I talked about, offhandedly, I mentioned Hunter, X-Hunter, as we were calling it at the time. And
which, look, I'm just going to say is still the right fucking name. Anyway, let's continue.
And when it came up, I was like, man, fuck that show. I hate that thing. It sucked. And I was basically describing how when I was in my college years out of high school, I had some friends that were, I was in the anime club. I was running the anime club. I was running the comic book club. And there were some friends I had that were super into Hunter x Hunter. And this was the year, this is like mid-aughts, right? And so, or early mid-aughts, I'd say. And so they were like, you got to check the show out. And I watched, at the time I gave everything the 4-episode test. I would say, let me give it 4 episodes to feel what it's doing. Because enough times I've watched 1 or 2 and been told, no, you got to give it a little more. And so I gave it 4 and I went, this pacing is dog shit. This is really rough. And I feel like I can predict a lot of these beats. I'm not enjoying what's going on here. And this protagonist and his fishing hook are just not quite doing it for me. And then they're like, no, give it a bit more. You got to give it a bit more. So I was like, okay. And I went from 4 to 8. And I was like, all right, we're getting introduced to this tournament and we're meeting the other kid on the skateboard and stuff. Again, the pacing is just the worst. We're spending so long doing nothing. We spent an episode on the boat on the way from the island over to the tournament, or to the hunter thing. And then the whole time I remember they're also like, they're going on and on about becoming the greatest hunter. But I was like, what the fuck is a hunter? Why won't the show tell me what it is? And they just refuse to explain what the thing is. And I'm like, I get what the name implies it is, but what does it actually mean in the context of the show? Anyway, I went on and on and on. I then also, after getting to 8, I was like, you know what? Let me keep it going because I'm still not getting it. And I took it to 12. I watched 12 episodes of it, which is like 3 times the amount I usually do. And went, I am done with this. I don't like this. This is not a good show. This sucks. I'm wasting my time. I hate it. And I then kept that with me. And I then relayed that on the podcast years later. And with the energy of like, I gave it 3 times the amount of chances I usually would for anything I otherwise bounce off of. Those recorded words in MP3 format traveled across the internet, across the ocean, and made their way into the ears of one young John Walsh, who, upon hearing them, zoom into his brain, some neurons were activated. Some feelings were felt. The ability, I perhaps imagine, to reach through the headphones and reach me was perhaps tried but did not work. And I can only assume that...
my Nen chakra was opened.
There you go. Right? He held a water glass with a leaf on it and discovered... that he wanted to choke a bitch.
That's the 6th type.
And then decided at that point to tell, in order to describe how wrong I was about Hunter x Hunter, he was going to make a video. And he made a video called Why You Should Watch Hunter x Hunter. And he said, I'm going to upload this onto YouTube. This is where I'm going to put it. This is John, not a YouTuber, not anyone. Just upload.
Oh, this was civilian animator John. This was my first video.
I have words, and I have to put them. I have to get this.
and just to be clear, Woolie, the idea of you ever seeing that video never crossed my mind.
And the
never in a million years.
And that's the thing, is that ultimately the fact that you had that feeling and you like, I have to get this out, but it wasn't a targeted response to what I had said. It was just, I want to give the reasons why I think this is a good show. Like, it says a lot about who you are, and who you are, certainly. You're like, that wasn't, you weren't sniping as much as you were like, I want to put out
because, like,
my opinion here.
I think you can make an argument without just completely fucking dogpiling the other person.
Right.
You know, because, like, how shitty would it have been if my video was like, Woolie Versus is a podcaster on, you know, like, why would that matter? Like, who gives a shit besides me?
So that was the impetus that got started. In that moment, you started the channel, you made the upload, you made the video. We've also described, you know, a couple times, but fast forwarding, met you at MagFest one year, and before, you introduced yourself and we took a picture, but I didn't know who you were, and we had that moment with the hotel rooms. Right?
So it still kills me that I can't find the original picture when I was literally just a fan and we just took a picture.
And then later on, we met a couple years later again at another MagFest, and
so this was the next year.
Yeah, and
the two were that close.
And that's
when I met you, Woolie. That original Hunter video was made. It was on the internet.
It was already there, right? But
I didn't say it to you, like.
And it was only at the end of that party, the second time around, where you're like, yeah, in fact, I made a video that was responding to your opinions on Hunter x Hunter. Here, you can look for it on my channel. And I was like, okay. He's like, scroll down. And I was like, okay. And he's like, keep scrolling. And you keep scrolling, and it's all the way at the bottom. It's the first video. Oh shit, I'm the one that created this entire thing because of what I had to say about it, right? So yeah, that was how it went. And so from there, then the that's the inception of how Eyepatch Wolf comes to be. But we also then fast forward to when you came, and I had a bit I was doing that was like gun to your head, which is I'd grab the camera and shove it in someone's face and click record and ask them a stupid question about Naruto, because I have some pained ass Naruto trauma from being super into that thing well before it was before it was even animated, when it was just fan subtitles and getting translated as a fan manga thing. I was way in, and then when the filler era and all that shit started happening, I was dying. And then when it got adapted and people were going through all of that for the first time, enjoying it, I was like, oh yeah, but then the stupid shit happened. Anyway, all this to say, Naruto bullshit. I would film people, and I had Gone in 60 Seconds. Not Gone. I had a Gun to Your Head is like the energy of like frantic camera in your face. And so we talked about like, okay, what if we fucking sat down and I'm like, you're like, I'm going to take you through this show. We're going to watch it episode by episode. I'm in your house. You cannot avoid it. And you have to give me your thoughts on every single episode. Go. You know?
And I would say that first... the first season, so I came over for this trip and we recorded like 5 or 6 episodes, and it was just very normal. It was just very me holding the camera. Woolie, who's your favorite character? Like,
right, the big smile at the like, I'm in his house, we gotta watch it. Hey, right. And
I remember there was one comment on that where it was like, I have to say, Eyepatch Wolf is like kind of creepy, but it's also like kind of inspirational that he would stew in his own hatred for so many years, to the point that he is actually now in the YouTuber's house filming a series with him, forcing him to watching like
the ultimate revenge, right?
Yeah.
And that energy carries forward as we're filming and doing episodes, and I'm giving my thoughts in 60 seconds. Right, on what I thought of that episode. Hence, Gone in 60 Seconds is the name of the series, and it's all there on my channel on Woolie Versus and stuff. But the obviously the pun with the racing movie, but you just have to spell the word gone as GON instead of GONE, right? So we do that, and then it's this crazy absurd thing, but like we're like, all right, I don't know how and when we're not, you live on the other side of the planet. We're not going to get the opportunity to sit down and necessarily go through every episode on a regular basis, but like we can just have fun with this, right? So and people like really resonated, and it got a really good response, and we're like, yo, what if we did more of that, And I was like, okay. And a lot of the time it was like, okay, let's see what we can come up with as an idea for where to go with this. And then,
I think there was a feeling from both of us that it's like the first season of Gone in 60 Seconds was really fun. If we're going to do more, we both want it to be another level up.
Yeah. Yes. And it was like all the high energy crazy shit that was going on, it was unexpected at the time, but it's just where things went, became a really clear like, oh, that was a lot of fun, let's lean into that. So
yeah,
then
at some point we started talking about like, the two people in Gone in 60 Seconds started to become more and more exaggerated versions of us, and like towards the end of it we started being like, well, okay, John's character would be feeling this and would do this. Like, that's how far it got.
And I would say that, like, when it came to so you came to MagFest again, and we're like, okay, let's shoot it there, right? Yeah. We don't know when you're next going to be in town, and we're not going to be in the same area, so let's make it work during the con weekend. And we actually went, all right, let's I have the episodes ready, we're going to sit, we're going to watch them, and then we're going to go, And so we did. And so we had the whole thing. John comes to my room, he's got the laptop, we plug it in. Oh God, where the fuck am I going? What's going to happen? I got to sit and watch the episode. And we're at a con, So that's why season 2, it's like, okay.
Season two subtitle, John ruins MagFest.
And like, yeah, and like you show up and then it's just like, yes, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the episode. We just watched it. But also, then I fucking go out the door. You're like, oh, get back here. Get back here. Yeah, and so that whole bit is going, and then that, like, okay, what do we do next after that? It's like, okay, I've got to give my cornered thoughts. Fine, here's what I think. But also, again, this is the show that I fucking right didn't and yeah, and then that built up to we're all hanging out, we're in the room, everybody's there, and John is forcing the room full of people to watch this show, and it's the most just like, oh my God, why can't this one dude read the room awkward cringe moment of you being like, hold on, you don't know what I'm gonna say, hold on, everyone's like, fucking shut up. He's like, I think we should put another episode on, and we're like, yeah. And like that final moment, and then like me getting up and just getting in your face and just getting really upset and getting pissed off at the end of that was a huge pop. It was a very funny moment, Mm-hmm. So we're like, okay, this is what this is. This is the energy. But essentially, it's John torturing me watching this show after years of this bullshit. And here's what's fucked up the entire time. John had no idea that I was talking about the original show, because the new show came out in 2011, 10 years later, when I was watching the 1999 show, and I had no idea this new one was a thing at all. So we weren't even talking about the same fucking show, and the one I was watching was not animated by Madhouse.
If you had dropped one little clarification that you were talking about the 1999 show, my entire life could be different. How fucked up is that?
Oh, man, that day, if you just said that one thing, if our positions were switched.
Oh, sorry, the 1999 one.
Would I have your life and would you have mine? Yeah.
Super Eyepatch Wolf doesn't exist.
It's crazy. But no, you thought I was shit-talking the Madhouse animated 2011 show. So that massive confusion was like, especially when watching this newer one now, was like, oh, this is going way faster and smoother. And like the opening series intro this is kind of what a hunter is. People that try to seek things out, like, okay, I'm still waiting on like what the elaboration of that. But overall, it's like, that's a job. Your job is to go be a bounty hunter, go find things. Okay. Right. But yeah, so it's two different shows entirely. So all of that, of course, then escalates, and we go to the third season and beyond, where it's not just you infiltrating the friend group, ruining MagFest, and ruining everything for everybody, but we were like, how do we one up that? I'm like, I'm gonna be in Dublin when I'm here how do we do this? And it's like, well, I'm legit coming to visit Ireland. I legit don't know anybody else here, really, except for you and your friends. So I am pretty much stuck within your environs, And so that's me in John's house. Guess what? Watching more Hunter x Hunter.
And things get really fucking weird that season. And I'm still so proud of how we walked the line, I feel like, between goofy and genuinely kind of creepy.
Just batshit. Needless to say, I leave Ireland very upset, never to return again. And then things are beyond awkward at that point. I'm in the middle of my sleep. An attempt to pull my wedding ring off my finger was made.
Yeah. So you're asleep, and I am just watching you, and I put the headphones with the Hunter x Hunter theme on your head, and then just pull the wedding ring off your finger, because I knew that would just be like, that would just be
happening?
Weirder and darker than anything that had happened, and like it implies so much fucking weird shit. And like, to me, what that bit always was like the John character basically trying to erase Woolie's identity and be like, this isn't part of the version of you I want to exist, so I'm going to take this away.
And I would also say that with the trimmings of, look what you made me, look what you made me do, right? Yeah. I am this because of you now, right? And so that's such a ridiculous escalation point that you can't possibly come back from. And we're like, yeah, you can't. Except what if you do?
So then the next season is at MagFest, and this is like years later, because think of like a pandemic and all this kind of stuff. And so immediately, like, one of my favorite things we did is like the first 2 episodes or 3 episodes, I can't remember, John, my character, isn't even in it. It's like Woolie dealing with like the borderline PTSD of everything that's happened.
I wake up and Punch Mom's watching a little bit of Hunter x Hunter on her phone, and that's it. I get to Mag and I run into Little V and Austin, and they're like, hey, have you seen it? It's pretty good, actually. And that's it.
They were both so great that, like, as they both were like, oh, hey, Woolie. And, like, there was, like, it's like they were holding back a little bit, and it was fucking weird, and it was, oh.
But the thing was, like, but will people notice you sitting in the background amongst the crowd, because you were there, and they did. They caught you with your back turned,
But it worked out so good, and I think this was actually a mistake, but it worked out really well, in where one shot I'm not there, and then the next I am.
Yeah. And so all that, it basically to a point of like, okay, we've lost the realm, we've gone beyond the realm of, hey, what's happening in that episode, as much as we are going with like, there is something sinister happening behind the scenes, and the people in Woolie's life are slowly getting into Hunter x Hunter for some reason. And in fact, underneath like Little V's jacket and Austin's shirt, there's a little hint of a logo on their t-shirt that you can barely sort of make out there, But the important thing is that even when all of that's going and the bit's continuing, I am still giving my thoughts on every episode as it goes, right? Even though this is becoming a weird fucking YouTube, whatever Marble Hornets thing people are saying and stuff, it's like, I'm still giving my opinion on how each episode goes. That's in there, Even when we have a pained meeting by the doc.
Episode 4 of season 4,
right?
And this was just
I mean, dude, like the trailer I made for that, like I went and I made a piano rendition of Departure, creepified it, added extra layers underneath, filmed the doc, had it pan over, hinted at the voices from the later episodes. He's not even here. Yeah. I put all that in. We meet up. You're standing there, and we do essentially just Yeah, you do a monologue.
Really earnest conversation about about a relationship gone wrong.
Real.
Like, that's all that episode is.
Super real. And within the pain of that, as you're leaving, a quick but actual recap on the things that happened in that episode matching the thing we were watching, right? It's still in there. It's just as you're turning to walk away, and then it gets cut off and you leave, you know?
That moment, I love that moment because, like, you do have this, like, you nearly feel bad, because I am just like, listen, I've been alone my whole fucking life. Your podcast was one of the only things I had. I just wanted to share something with you that you shared with me. Like, and then it's like, and you're like, oh, you know what? I actually did watch that most recent episode. And when you say that, the sun, like, crests a hill and light pours onto my face in a way we never could have planned.
It literally just worked out that way. The lighting is going far in the distance. In the meantime, again, just the t-shirt, hints of that, you know?
There's a guy standing in the background and he's wearing a white t-shirt with a Hunter Association logo. And that's the same t-shirt that V and Austin wore in the second episode. And when I saw someone put that together, I was so fucking happy.
There you go, right? So the the whole thing eventually is like, yeah, we then go swerve full hard into John in a wig, in a disgusting gone wig, full outfit on.
Woolie walks into a room and everyone he knows is just standing there in the Hunter t-shirts, arms straight, standing up, NPCing, watching Hunter, and then Woolie comes in and they're all like, he's here, and it's just...
It just, I don't know, maximum. And like,
I am nearly tempted to say, if you're curious what happens after that, just go check it out.
Yeah. And exactly. And then after having it escalate to that point, then we go, where do we escalate from that, right? Full on insanity. Like, my own wife is there in the group. Where do we go from there? And we go somewhere from there, and then the finale, essentially.
And it has that bit has my favorite line in the whole thing, where you're terrified and you're like, what are you going to do? And remember, we were trying to come up with a line that's creepy enough to kind of end the episode on. And you came up with the line, Woolie, if you were me, Woolie, what would you do next? And I don't know if you remember, I dropped that line in the last episode.
Exactly. Yeah. It was Sean standing in the background, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was Sean.
Yeah, okay.
Sean of Studio Mala, yeah.
Yeah, shout outs to everybody that was there with the outfits and the handheld,
everyone killed it.
Drawn
My
everything.
God.
Yes, and so for that finale, I mean, I just got in front of the video editor and I just went crazy. Like, that finale is me just throwing everything I can from all my shit posting, Fighterpedia, Guilty Gear lore, nonsense bullshit editing, like, into like just it's everything, you know. I'm throwing everything at the wall to create the most batshit YouTube video possible. And yeah, and I was like, it's like, okay, that's it, that's where we are, until you said that. And it's funny because I was talking about the black headphones because when you put them on last time, that seemed like a switch of character over to, oh, now we're doing it. But you're saying that's not what happened?
My headphones ran out of battery. That was it. I wasn't like morphing into a villain persona.
Well, everyone took it that way. Because
that's so funny.
You switched from the white headphones to the black ones, and then came back in dead serious. So that's how that ran.
Okay, maybe we'll do something with that. Yeah. Well, okay. Someone was actually asking me, are we going to continue Hunter, like, Gone in 60 Seconds now that you're watching it again? And to me, like, ultimately what Gone in 60 Seconds is it's this story about the idea that, like, when you want someone to see the media you like the way you like it, what you're essentially asking is to erase a little piece of them and paste a little piece of you into that space, and that's fucked up, and you shouldn't want to do that. Like, ultimately, that's what the story was about, and I think we left it at the perfect place.
And that being the MO was unexpected from how this started, but it was so interesting that lean in that way. That's what we wanted it to become, and that's what it became. And that was so much more interesting to both of us compared to actually let's just sit down and do the what do we do episode to episode, what's it gonna be, right? Like the real version of that, which the finale is like actually grabbing the tweets and like showing you the like, you know, what the fuck, and what are the, you know, because legitimately, and everyone's that's as we peel this curtain back, there is a hilarious level of like, no, but what does he really think? No, which is why we laughed about it in the first one, because it's like the thing that this became is so much more fun and creatively interesting and just wild to do, you know, and it just went off the rails with that. And some people didn't like that, and that's okay. But what it did become was fucking crazy and awesome. You know?
If people didn't like that, I wouldn't hang out with them at parties, and that's all I have to say about that. You shouldn't want to be John from those videos. That's a bad thing. That's a bad person. That's not like a good thing to be. Now, let's say we talk about some Hunter Woman.
Yeah, that's it, you know? And so that also showed us as well what our dynamic is like and how the bit kind of goes. And this level of like, okay, there's some friendly, you know, banter here, and there's a little bit of antagonism in that, and then things are going to get a little, you know, and we kind of learned from that. And that's how this podcast's energy has developed as well. And
I would say the Mystical Ninja LP was also a big part of that, where it was just like, yeah, there was just I guess that was a very easy LP to do.
Yeah. You know. And so with that, and with this curtain pulled and everything visible to everybody, here we are, legitimately talking about the show, which, of course, I'm sure was going to come down the pipeline at some point. But
I saw a lot of people being like, I saw some people being like, I can't believe he's doing it this early. And I saw a lot of people being like, I can't believe he waited this long.
Well, there it is. There it is, spelled out for the world to see, so everyone knows what the history is. And that brings us back to business. So here we are, right? Okay. This is crazy because it's like describing the meta while
I feel fucking weird right now. This is so strange.
This side of the meta, is that even meta, or is it just reality though?
It might not be meta right now, but by the end of this conversation, I don't know.
Where does it end, John? Where does it stop? Where does it end?
For all we said, for all I can talk about, like John's character, that was me. Like, I did do that.
You did force and are continuing to force this on me. So here we are.
And the fact that it's like we're getting meta and having fun with it and it's a joke doesn't mean it's not happening.
This is happening. So, when we catch all the way back up to 24 or so, where we're meeting the Zoldyck family and the theme is playing and everything's going and the pacing is much better, I'm having a much better time with this show. But it still ultimately is a shonen that reminds me of the shit I was watching as a kid. And, you know, I mean, look, I am not an anime YouTuber, right? I have not watched, like...
Hey, me neither, by some measures.
You know, but I've seen quite a bit throughout the years. There's a time when I would just get seasons of shit and go through it regardless, just because I was like, oh yeah, all anime is going to be great, you know. And I've experienced I've experienced my Dragon Ball, Naruto's, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, My Hero Academia's, Escaflowne's, Tenjo Tenge's, Chainsaw Man's,
Tenjo Tenge, hell yeah, dude.
JoJo Trigun, Flame of Recca, One Piece Man, Hajime no Ippo, Fist of the North, King of Bandits, Jing, fucking Shaman King, Angel Densets. I've seen a bunch of shit. You know,
should I watch Flame of Recca?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, but Flame of Recca, actually, when I was watching Hunter, there's a lot that it reminds me of that. Okay. The protagonist and the characters and things they do. There's a lot of Flame of Recca things I kind of remember. It's old as fuck, but there's some stuff that's fun as long
Flame
as you
of
know.
Recca had a big influence on Smash tournaments because that's where they got the tournament structure. The team, the like 1 versus 1 in the big teams.
Interesting. Yeah, as long as you know the date and you know what you're watching, when it comes from, and what's going on, then you can go back and enjoy that as a timepiece. But I don't know about how well it holds up per se, but I also haven't seen it in that long, right? Anyways, so I'm kind of looking at Hunter now as a thing that is like, I'm like, what's its bit? What does it resemble other shonen in doing, and where's it going to stand out? And yeah, the way things are starting to shape up is one where it's interesting because the world is brutal at times. You have to go through these insane lengths to get things done, and people are having these battles where they have to outsmart each other, out-trick each other and stuff. And it's kind of interesting to watch because you're like, some shows have characters who catch up in power level and can eventually beat the number of the villain. And other shows are like, I'm never going to catch up, so I'm just going to use sneaky tricks, you know? And here you're getting a little bit of both. And in some cases it feels like, oh yeah, you worked hard to get to where you're at so you could eventually, you know, stand toe-to-toe with someone who seems insurmountable. But in other cases, you're just kind of like, oh, you're gimmicking your way through this, and somehow it's working. You know? So, yeah, I guess the assignment was to get through the next arc. So we watched up to 24, and then to take it from the introduction of them getting into the Zoldyck family household into the end of the Zoldyck family arc, right?
Yeah. So if people are unfamiliar with this setup, Killua is basically Gon's best friend. He's the main character's best friend. In some ways, he's kind of the Vegeta of the show. I don't think he fits super well into that kind of
if
archetype.
Not, who else, right? If you had to pick somebody.
But yeah, if you had to pick someone, it's Killua. And he basically has been kidnapped back by his evil assassin family, who are just really fucked up and weird in, I think, a really great way. Like, I think they push that a little further than you think they're going to, and it's frightening.
Yeah, and it is interesting to see that, like, here's an innocent child Gon. He's a fishing boy that grew up on an island, and he's just pure. And here's another kid who's got a skateboard that he's friends with that is equally, like, whimsical and fun, but he's got a little more edge to him. And it's like, but he's still a kid. But you're kind of discovering that, like, oh, that whimsical nature he has is him kind of holding on to what he can of being a kid, because everything about his upbringing and family want him to be a cold assassin that just murders people and has almost no feeling about it, right?
Yeah, and that is absolutely something that like has translated through about Killua up till this point. Like, he's so chill and he's so nice, and then he will just fucking gut someone, and you're like, oh, okay. And the scary part is it's not a big deal to him.
Yeah, and he's trying. Every time he's being whimsical with Gon, it's him trying to be that kid, while everything about his upbringing has been to be a cold fucking murderer. So it's interesting to see one person effortlessly being this pure and the other being like, no, it's because I'm trying to, I want this, you know? Despite all that, everything about him, he just wants a friend, you know? So that's what he's trying to do. And it is interesting watching them hang out, because you get to see a lot more of them hanging out together in this arc. And I feel like when you see them just being kids hanging around, it's like you're watching the flashback that adults in a dark future will think about. You know what I mean? Like them just chilling and going on their adventures. And
you know, that's actually kind of interesting note about Killua. One thing I really love about him is, like, he's a kind of complicated little character in some ways, but he never becomes that character who's like the darkness. You know what I mean? He never becomes Jin Kazama, you know, kind of like navel gazy.
I mean, he has those moments, but they're ones where, like, he gets cornered into being something that he doesn't want to be, right? Which is the exam, essentially, when he runs into his brother and there's no way out. And he's already like, I don't need to solve these problems. Just kill the guy. That's already in his nature. And but the exam is like, actually, if you just do that, you fail, right? So it's forcing you to, like, think outside the box. But his instinct is already there. And then running into his brother at that point is something he kind of gets essentially just broken. And it's a reverse tournament where whoever loses keeps fighting, but there will only be one person disqualified from being a hunter at that point. Everyone else will pass. So it's a really interesting, like, the loser keeps going up in the bracket until you're the grand finals loser. And killing somebody is a really an instant way to not make it, essentially. So that's it. He eventually does that and goes back to his family. And then Gon's like, yeah, but he's my friend. I want to come find him. We gotta go see him. And so they go to his family. When they get there, you get to meet his mom, his brother. They're all psycho. You get to meet his dad, who's clearly this massive, evil, horrible thing, but also is, like, having earnest moments where he's like, hey, son, tell me all about your trip.
His dad feels like the villain of a different manga.
But not this one, right?
Not this one.
Yeah. He's sitting there doing shit in another series that's
like,
really
at some
bad.
point, this dude curb stomped Kenshiro and was like, get stronger.
But right now he's talking to his son, and he's being he's being what seems to be a good dad. For the most part, except for all the background of become a fucking assassin, thing.
I love the granddad and the sign on his chest. 1 kill per day.
Oh, yes. Yeah, exactly. Right. True. And so you have all that, and then there's the butlers that work for them, the little girl, and then the other dude they meet, and then this main guy that's the Jeeves, the buttoned up, glasses wearing dude. And it's at this point in the show where I have a thought when they meet the butler, who's like, my job is to keep Killua away from these kids. We want him to stay with the family and stuff. And despite the fact that Killua himself wants to rejoin his friends, how can I, get in the way of this and slow it down or interrupt, I don't think you guys are worthy of the young master. And also they do a little thing, sorry, but before that, they do a little thing where the butler girl, she kind of implies, she's like, oh yeah, I grew up in some city that doesn't exist anymore. And it's like, oh, what does that mean? Okay, like some place just got destroyed, and anyway, moving on. So the butler meets them and sits them down, and then he's like, essentially, he stalled Killua on one side of the house, and then he keeps the main characters all over here, and he's like, we're gonna play a game of coin toss, and that will determine whether or not I think you're worthy of being Killua's friend, and whether you're allowed to see him, And this whole time, I have a thing in my brain about this type of show, and maybe part of it is on me for preconceived notions, because I am known for being guilty of trying to overthink some things and try to put things where they aren't. Whenever you watch a show, particularly one that is shonen aged, aimed at a younger audience, someone like Gon, that you're trying to make, that wants to be the best something, right? There will be a container logic for the world. And that container logic is one where, in Pokemon, all issues in life are solved with a Pokemon battle. Right?
Yeah, cause of and solution to.
Everything. And this continues whether you are spider riding, whether you are Beyblading. Moses is parting the Red Sea with a Beyblade to let his people go, right? All things in the world of the thing are because of the thing. And the thing that the main character wants to be makes perfect sense because, like, his parent was probably the greatest of that thing. And there's a buddy who also wants to be the best at that thing. And and you know, and to throw it even into like, it's like it basically, yeah. But if someone wanted a bank loan in Pokemon, you'd have to walk into the bank and battle someone for it, right?
Yep.
If someone wanted a bank loan in My Hero Academia, there would be a bank that was only made for heroes, and the teller would have a quirk, you know, and they would use that quirk while you're talking to them about whatever. I'm currently playing Yakuza 0, and Yakuza 0 actually makes fun of this concept in an insane batshit way, where there's a quest you do where you're doing pocket circuit racing, where everyone is really into racing little mini cars around the track, and you, a big mobster adult man, is racing, and there's kids also racing as well, and you're beating them with your cars and stuff. At one point, it's super creepy and disturbing, and it's this weird moment where this girl's like, I want to be your girlfriend, and she's like this little kid because you're the fastest, and you're like, okay, kid, whatever, get away from me. And then her dad is like secretly watching, and he's like, oh no, my daughter, she's gonna be corrupted by this adult racing man. And
that's,
you know,
so funny. Oh my god. Okay.
And then he like runs up and he's like, you creep, get away from my daughter. I can't let this happen. You're not good enough for her. And he's like, I won't report you to the police if you can beat me in Pocket Racer. And it's so crazy. It's completely insane. And you have to then race him. And he's like, oh man, you're so fast. Damn, it turns out you're really incredible at racing. I didn't know. You know? And like,
no sex offender could be this good at racing.
It's that nuts, but like they're like, that's what they're making fun of, right? Like everything in this world runs on this logic in a way. So when I was watching Hunter x Hunter, especially back then, I'm like, what is the thing that this world runs on?
Because I've never quite understood your obsession with like, what is a hunter? I think that gets at the heart of it.
If I know what a hunter is, then I know what the world runs on, and I understand how to think about every challenge they're going to face moving forward. Right?
Okay, yep.
And up to this point, I have no idea, and they're not fully elaborating, except for the part where it's like, you know, you go get the job, etc. So like you hunt things down, but it's vague, but it's still like you're skilled, you can fight, you can think, you can do things, etc. But it's like, what is going to determine what the challenges they face are, and how do I know how Gon is doing as a person in this world and moving up and so on, right? And I fully have this moment where the butler, who has nothing to do with being a hunter or the exams or anything, sits down and says, you're not good enough to hang out with Killua. We're going to play a game of spot the coin with my super quick hand movements. And if you can figure out the mystery of my insanely fast hand movements, then you'll win. But I'm going to rig the game because I have superpowers practically in how I'm doing this. But none of that, like, why is he doing that, and why is spotting the coin a metric for being good enough to hang out with Killua, you know? Like, he's not Pokemon battling you. He doesn't have a quirk. He's just a guy that's like, I'm going to toss a coin, and this is the arbitrary system that I'm going to use to determine whether or not you're good enough, you know? And so this is where I was like, this world is weird because, like, in the tournament, there's a rule set they have to follow, but when you're outside of that, you've just got a license in your pocket, but the world is the world. And if you have to do something, and the person who wants to get in your way or stop you creates an arbitrary rule set of a JoJo battle for how we have to stop each other, but we're just in real life. There's no rules of Pokemon. There's no rules of Yu-Gi-Oh or Metabots, or you know what I mean? It's like, what's creating the world, and why it, and like what's making things follow this these constraints?
Yep, sure.
It's a weird thought, but it is one that's like ultimately like it seems to be whatever the author thinks a kid would have fun with, right? A kid,
and
would
I think that is a kind of like, that's the like that is the sharp points. I think that's been something that's been running through you with Hunter x Hunter the entire time, right?
It has been.
Yeah.
It has been. And I'm waiting essentially for the shoe to drop, because I'm like, these shows, and I know that they don't always I'm going off of what I expect, right? Again, my expectations are there's always, but I'm like, there's got to be a thing so that the challenges we know are, it's like you're having a stand battle. We know what the rules of how stands work. We know the constraints, and thus he's got to win within that, right? But the moment they're outside of the exams and they're just out there in the world, you're like, yeah, like how many things are going to rely on the Hunter license concept, and how many things are going to be like, I don't know, you've just got to overcome this.
When are they going to have to blow out a candle again?
I don't know, so that's a weird part of it that feels, it's just so open, and thus, and even in the world of like One Piece, right? It's like, well, it's going to fit into the realm of what pirates and
Devil Fruits as well.
Sure, there's devil fruits, and those have rules, right? And then there's pirates, and they have rules, and they're being hunted by, the Navy and stuff. But like, yeah, don't throw him in the water. He can't, that's it, right? So anyway, like all this is just it's in the background because I'm watching the coin game, going, but why? But I'm still enjoying it. And then he does, and then they move on from there, and then. Like, sure enough, they're out in the open for like 2 seconds, and they're like, let's go to the city, let's make some money, we're going to go meet up, and he's got to pay back Hisoka for that hit and give him back his badge when he gets strong enough. So let's get stronger, and they go into a tower, and now in the battle tower, the rules are back on.
So there's 2 episodes here. And I do not particularly enjoy them as episodes, but they are your manual to understand everything from this point on.
Yes. And if I can just preempt myself and I'll start with the conclusion here. I now understand that if you try to get a bank loan in the world of Hunter x Hunter, you walk into the bank and there's a door that you can only see with Nen. And when you walk through that door, you discover Nen-based other tier shit going on. That is the element that is missing. That is the container logic for this world, for the battles, and for the struggles these characters are going to face from here on out. When we look at a stand user who's got a super strong stand that's up close, we know that he can't go long range. And now we know that an enforcer... And
I would also say the Nen system is one of the most like tightly designed and fun battle systems. I think it's like probably the best one. Honestly, I absolutely love it, and I love how these episodes explain what it is and show you what's possible.
So I can 100% see where Naruto took its notes from, because you go through so much of Naruto with people using chakra, but they don't break it down until after the time jump when Sai shows up, I think, and they're like, let's explain literally how chakra works, the elements, how the spiral of your hair rotation changes where it goes and how it works in your body, right? And I feel like Naruto cribbed notes off of Hunter x Hunter's Nen explanation in that, right? Dragon Ball doesn't really go into how and why Ki works the way it does, but needless to say that there's energy, you can summon it, and you can use it to do things,
Yeah, well, like I think with Dragon Ball was, for the most part, about self-improvement, right? It didn't need to get specific, because I think, I think you have a limit in how far a show can go when you just stop being able to express new levels of power, which I think you could argue happens with Dragon Ball Z. Like, what would come after Buu? Like, what could you... Like, I mean, you have Super, and Super's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean...
But it's not that.
Beerus is the answer, right? Yeah. So, no, it really is just like, the number just gets higher, and that's all we're doing. But I think it really is interesting because, so you look at this here, and they break it down, and they break down, like, where the position of the Nen chart, where you place yourself, what it allows you to do, what you can't do. You can only do things that can be proficient at the things adjacent to your placement on this 6 diamond position. And they've gone over it a couple times, but I still need to see examples of each one to fully understand what that means.
Yeah, it's like the most basic one is like enhancement, which is like in different ways you can make yourself
tough,
stronger, or faster, or so like you can enhance your hands, you have amazing grip strength, you can enhance your arms, you have, you know, amazing strength, and you can enhance your eyes, you can see really well, or like you can react very quickly. There's all this kind of stuff, but the general idea is like no one ever really has enough Nen to supercharge their whole body. So you have to really think about what parts of your body you want to enhance and how.
Because there's always going to be a weakness or a dead angle somewhere.
Exactly. But then it's like, so then that's one type of Nen. But then there's conjuring, there's manipulation,
specialist.
Yeah, and then there's like unique type, and so like there's all these different ways. The conjuring is like summoning weapons. Manipulation is, I think, more about controlling the elements and stuff like that. But
there's so you know they go over it a little bit, and you get introduced to this chart, and this is again, it's the chart that like it's interesting to see it's coming this late because. Like, from the jump, it definitely could have been a, like... Because you know right away that Harry Potter wants to be a wizard, right? So you can spend a long time going on about how strong wizards are and him going to wizarding school, but you can eventually get around to explaining what a wizard, like, actually does and how they cast way later, because that concept is kind of a foregone conclusion. And it's similar for ninjas in Naruto, right? But when the concept is somewhat foreign, you got to explain fairly quickly what a Shinigami is doing in Bleach, you know?
Yep.
And so the way they get through the rules of Nen here, you can almost see them explaining it so that Gon and Killua can learn it, but then they're also saying it so that you can take this to your friends, and at recess, on break in school, you will come up with your own OC of where your Nen character should be, and you can probably incorporate Nen into your Shinigami's Bankai, and you might even have your chakra-infused version of an OC as well, but now Nen logic applies.
Okay,
you know?
So I have the 6 types here, and I'll give them a real quick explanation. So enhancement is just what we said it was, about enhancing physical properties. There's transmutation, which means that your Nen gains the properties of something else. So it's like... you can basically create like a Nen string or sort of something like that, you know. Then there's like conjuring, which is like you turn your Nen into actual physical objects. There's emission, which means you can shoot your Nen. There's manipulation, which is a really interesting one, which means you can basically add rules or properties to physical objects, places, or people. And then there's specialization, which is just something that doesn't fit into any of the other categories. Every character has like a speciality in one of these, and then is proficient in the 2 beside it, and then bad at like whatever is opposite on the Nen wheel.
Yeah. The percentages are I think the things next to you can learn 80% proficiency, then 60, then 40, and a 20% reduction as you go across this thing till you hit that 0, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it does introduce that, and like so the way to think about all this that I'm describing is like the world container logic is also like the character creator, right?
Yes.
Now you can pick the category class. What type of Nen user are you? And then where do you apply those skills and abilities? They introduce it via this cool character, actually. Zushi shows up.
Zushi rules.
I like Zushi a lot. He's really cool, and he's a little martial artist going Chester, you know, and he's a little martial artist kid, smaller than Gon, but he's burning with the spirit. He's got that Fist of the North Star energy inside of him, and he can't do much else. And he's in there, and he can make it to floor 50 of the 200 and some odd floors you have in this new challenge tower that they find themselves in.
Heaven's Tower, baby.
Right. And Heaven's Tower, like I said, we've introduced Nen and a contained fight rule set where you've got Bloody Palace / Tartarus that you need to climb up. And every time you win your fight, you go higher and higher. The more good you are, the better you win, the higher you can skip as well.
Each floor has a boss.
Yep. But you have so the later floors, as of 200 and above, they each you have the floor bosses or so. But that initial point is like, okay, we've contained the rule set now. We've taken the chaos of everything. There's no reason for rhyme or reason for anything. There's no Butler game here. We're back in a fight tower.
What I would say, see, I would disagree with you a little there.
Okay.
Because to me, the rule set that is applied to everything in Hunter x Hunter up till this point is just problem solving. It's just like, how do you deal with this situation? And all I think that the Nen system does is it puts structure on that very loose idea.
Okay. It creates a major focal point, I would say, because I think, like, now, once this gets introduced, you're going to be, like, the character's internal monologue will be all about what is the Nen type that he's using, how can I circumvent it, etc. Beforehand, you're kind of doing that anyway, but now, like, there's rules that you're trying to think about and work your way around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, problem solving. That is true, and that is ultimately, I guess, like the element of like what the Hunter exam and being a hunter is kind of about is like problem solving. You probably need to also be pretty good at fighting. You probably also need to be good at survival. But
for sure,
can you track a thing down no matter what that thing might be, and so on?
But I think it's also in this group of episodes that someone literally says the ability to use Nen is the final part of the Hunter exam.
They do. They don't tell you.
So Woolie, look at me. That is what a hunter is.
A Nen user that gets hired to do shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it really was a missing piece of the puzzle, you know? It really did kind of make that come together. And so, so they're in there now, and while they're learning about their types and you know, there's also the way that Nen works too is also not just the placement on your chart, but there's also the major 4 tenets of it, which is like essentially there's like focusing on it's like essentially like conjuring up the image of the conjuring up the energy from within, pushing it out of your body, like expressing it in reality, and then or like using it to protect yourself and or focus it into a specific area to do something, you know? And so by learning these individual elements, you can also get ready to have a Nen fight where if someone's using Nen and you're not using Nen, you're dead. There's just no fight.
You didn't bring a gun.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a little bit of that to, you know, you have this is where the anime tropes come in. Hisoka stepping up way ahead of schedule, showing up before you expect him to. This is your knock, open up the door. Who's there? It's Itachi and Kisame. What the fuck? Right? And this type of moment, like that, it's a classic shonen bit, but like, all right, the villains are over there. We're gonna get to them. We're gonna get strong, and we're gonna. Oh God, they're here!
Oh no!
Yeah. So, you know,
I just reached the top of Korin's tower, and Frieza's here.
You know, and there's that like combine that with the like, have you learned what Nen is? Because if you don't, like I'm not going to let you walk down this hallway, bro. You can't even approach the desk to sign up without knowing. But it's also like it's like a secret that everyone in the world that's a badass knows about, but nobody who's not a badass does.
No, normal people don't know about it.
It's the invisible rule of the world, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
but I think for normal people, it's more just like they're kind of like. They accept that these people can do weird shit. Like, no one's trying to hide it. They just don't understand the particulars.
Right. And that's why there's almost an element of like, so climbing up this tower by being a fighter, sure, here's some money. Who cares? You know, none of that matters. What matters is from floor 200 and up, you know, you better fucking know what you're doing. So they then get introduced to these abilities, and then they have to adapt them and figure out how to use them. But I think right now we've just learned how to use them, and we don't know how they're going to express their own personalities with these powers just yet. We just know they know how to use them defensively, and we know that Gon is an enhancer who is a simple-minded, one-track mind, buff yourself, get strong type. and Killua is a bottom right, I think it was. Is he a manipulator? I forget, but he was a different category.
He's either I think.
We did.
Yeah, he's a manipulator.
Manipulator, yeah, manipulator.
But wait, no, maybe he's an emission. I don't know.
But we don't see anything with it, right? We just see the training, and we don't know what they're going to do with it of note just yet. Because
Killua is a transmuter.
Transmuter. Okay, there you go. Because Killua already knew how to do things like the shadow step and, you know, like masking his presence and concealing himself and stuff. So it's all these things where they're like, oh, you inherently already were doing some Nen-related things without even knowing about it, you know? It really is. It's interesting to get a little more time as well as we're seeing. Okay, so Hisoka has gone from being like that. Well, he's just this terrifying presence in the exam that like is clearly leaps and bounds ahead of everyone he's around, and now he's like directly talking to you, and you're getting time to see him in the exams, you know, disrupting, whispering to Kurapika, and now straight up telling Gon like, "Come back when you're stronger." You're like, oh, you're like, what drives you is just the thrill of it. Is what it seems to be, right?
And it's so unsettling as well, because at this point it starts to seem like there's a part of Hisoka who, if you're not familiar, is just this horrifying evil clown that like genuinely gives a shit about Gon and is genuinely like, you are not getting past this floor if you can't use the basics of Nen, because you'll just get fucking destroyed.
Yeah. And again, the idea of like, you know, essentially like fight grooming is what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Because he's got big old Kefka Joker energy, right?
Yes.
That's exploding off of him at all times. And I'm trying to figure out his angle here, and you see him start licking his lips and getting really excited sometimes, but it's not until that, like, he's great, but you get that fucking, that, is he doing a JoJo pose? No, we have entered the realm of boner energy.
He gets fight boners.
And he's getting a fight boner while fighting Gon, and like he's leaning back and there's an aura of glow coming off of his junk as we zoom in, and he's practically rubbing his nipples in the fight. It's crazy. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here, dude?
Yep.
And like, Gon is still Gon. He's the child that is trying to fight, and like Hisoka's like, yeah, so, bring more of that.
Before we get to the Hisoka fight, there's a couple of moments I wanted to pick your brain about, and one of my personal favorite is Gon, and I think he's fighting this guy who uses, I think, spinning tops.
Yeah,
and Gon's
like, a Beyblade out.
I can see it. I can see the pattern, and he starts to do it. He's like, I start to, and then we cut, and he's in a hospital bed, and the doctor's like, so you broke about 12 ribs?
Yeah. Exactly. He's dodging.
I fucking
showing
love
off
that. Yeah,
like, bro, like, still, you know, anything that touches Nen that is unprotected explodes. You know, yep. So if you fight someone and they throw a fist at you and you block it, but you're not Nen protected, your arm is dust. You know, so like that's the idea with these tops, you know.
And then you also have Hisoka fighting. Sorry, go on.
Oh, well, no, I was just going to say that, like, you have Gon overcoming this challenge and outthinking his way, you know, to victory. And then there's, like, because there's the rookie crushers, right? So I guess the first rookie crusher is, like, Tonpa from the exams. And his whole deal, actually, I was going to say, he's my pick for the fighting game, by the way. I want Tonpa to be on the roster, and I want his whole job to be making someone else on the team die as well, even if you don't win. Right? Almost like Captain Ginyu Spotty Switch in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I want that. I want Tonpa to just be there and be like, I'm here. It's the chubby dude from the exams that was like, I'm just going to feed you poison, or I'm going to do things to break your spirits. And like, I can't fight, but I've failed the exam like 20 times in a row or some crazy shit. I re-show up every year just to watch people fail. You know, I want him on your team. Anyways, the equivalent of that comes from this Heaven's Tower arc, is these three group of villains that are like, we're here to farm the noobs, We're spawn killing. We sit on floor 200, and when you walk in and you don't know how to use Nen, we challenge you and beat your ass, and if we can get the 10 victories, we can move up to the next floor and get our own floor if we can win.
I like to imagine, Woolie, that if me and you existed in Hunter x Hunter, that's what we'd do.
Spawn camping?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like, stop spawn camping. Stop spawning. Yeah. So, they are gonna, try to cheat their way to victory by essentially picking on people who have no idea what's going on. Gon wins the fight fair and square, and Killua is like, yeah, I'm gonna do things my way, actually, and goes behind the scenes and is just like, hey, man, just so you know, I know what you're trying to do by forcing us to get into these fights that you don't think we can win because of Nen and our inexperience and all that shit, but you can get touched. As the streets would say, just because you're on this floor and we're not in the fight arena doesn't mean that you cannot get touched.
I think the guy has a hallucination that Killua stabs him through the brain.
Something, yeah, like he envisions his death, essentially.
Yep.
He feels the bloodthirst.
It's one of those, like, Killua blank eyes moments,
yeah.
And it is...
no reflection in his eyes, the color is gone. And so he's just like, here's what we're going to do. All right? You're going to fight us, and it's going to go down like this. And if you try any bullshit, he's like, you're going to go sign up here, and then you're going to fuck off. And we're going to take those wins. And if you try any shit, I'll fucking murder you. And that's it.
It's so good. And this is just a perfectly normal thing for Killua. He's not like, oh, am I evil? He's like, no, this is how the world works. And I love that about him.
Right. And he's just like, all right, deuces, and he's out. And they're just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
That little boy sure is. Okay, so one of my favorite... So I obviously am a huge fan of Togashi, and one of my favorite things about Togashi is his ability to just pack so much about a character into these really minor moments. I think I've talked before on the podcast about the moment with Hiei in Yu Yu Hakusho, where... everyone's standing in front of the door and it cuts to them each and they're all like, cool, let's do this, let's fight, let's try our best. Cut to Hiei, nothing. Cut to next person because he just doesn't fucking care.
Right.
There is a moment equivalent to that with Hisoka here, and it's when Hisoka is about to fight this old rival.
Yeah.
And so there, and like Gon and Killua are kind of like wondering, okay, well, how strong is Hisoka? And so they look up his old win record, and it's 5 wins and 4 losses. And they're like, oh, okay, so, like, he can be beaten. And then they're like, oh, no, wait. The 4 losses were because he didn't show up, and in the 5 wins, he killed every one of his opponents. And it's just like, oh my fucking god! Jesus!
Yeah, the record is not 5-4. It's 5 grand finals first place wins and 4 DQs.
Just because he didn't fucking
show
care.
Up. Incredible, yeah. And then you get so we build up to that, and you do, and the whole time you're watching his rival, the blonde guy, you're definitely getting that, like, okay, this is the jobber fight. We're watching Frieza fighting fucking like Dende and and
Nail.
Nail, you know what I mean, and the rest of the Namekian force here, but when you're like, how this guy's gonna get it rough, how bad's it gonna be, essentially, but they're using him as an example to explain that, like, Nen has gimmicks, you can run with it, but if the gimmick is just one dimension and anyone who knows how Nen works can think about it for 2 seconds, you're fucked, right?
Yeah,
you can't just cover one base and think
this
you're gonna win.
dude is all your eggs in the one basket, the character. And the basket he does it in is cool. He basically clones himself, so you have to fight 2 of them, and he's really good at martial arts, so he'll just fucking shred you with his hands. The only problem is he goes so far down that road, he doesn't leave any, like, backup or defense or anything.
Yeah. And you have to spend so much of your energy dedicated towards creating this perfect clone that you can't possibly like focus on the other things you need to look out for when it comes to Nen, including like the bit about like putting it into your eyes. You have to like disarm you have to focus on like it's interesting because there is something that is like this applies to competitive gaming, fighting games and things like that as well. There's moments where you're like, if you just keep going on a one track mind autopilot, there's times where you have to look out for something, and like in some cases it requires you to stop everything you're doing and react to like a one frame thing, and
this is the Tekken player who learns the 10-hit combo and nothing else.
Right. And yeah, and you're like, I'm just gonna do that, and it worked the whole time. And the moment you encounter somebody that's like, I know your string and I know how to low parry it every time, now what? And you're like, oh no, I didn't come up with a second game plan. So yeah, Castro is the guy's name, and yeah, he's seems pretty tough, but just Hisoka is here to fucking make an example out of you, and he does. And so it's an even further thing of like the mismatch between Gon and Hisoka is very clearly there from the jump, but you're like, oh, we know there's a handicap here to some degree, but will he just explode, or can he touch him? Can he close the bracket? Can he? And that's it. And like, he manages to do so. It's not about expecting a victory in any way, shape, or form. It's just, will you immediately die in his presence in a 1v1? And you actually don't. That's it's a nice little like introduction of where Gon has gotten to. And you got to watch those steps. In addition to like, oh, you put the heavy jacket on, now you're strong enough to push the door. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? All those little examples coming into play.
Like that moment of like shitting yourself and cowering in the Hunter exam because Hisoka's walking by, to punching him in the face. It's so fucking satisfying. And then what does he do?
Walks up. Just chill out. They both know. Everyone's like, what are they doing? The announcer's like, I don't understand. They stop, walk to the center of the ring. Here's your badge. Thank you. All right.
Fucking
great.
Amazing.
That was a really good moment, Like yeah. They both just in that like without words, like, okay. All right, kid, but except that it's a little more than all right, kid. It's like yeah.
And I just want to say, like, the animation for this entire scene is absolutely fucking incredible. Like the darting around, that one bit where there's no music, there's just a rush of air for like 30 seconds, no dialogue. Oh my god.
They're dropping the Sakuga, right? Like you're getting your high animation frame count moments of just like smooth, crazy sequences. And, like the beginning of the fight where they just go hand to hand for a while is a really sick, just like, oh, he's keeping up, they're doing it, move, dodge, swing.
Yeah, and like what I love about that animation as well is like in a lot of animation like that, like, it's the cool guy moments, it's like the action and it's fun. But if you look at those like drawings, it's like Gon is trying so hard and his face is scrunched up and he's sweating and he's just like giving it everything he has, and Hisoka is just leaning back, just having to just parry, just like dodge, and it's
no expression.
Awesome.
But at the same time, you're so used to Gon, like there's moments of Gon like struggling to overcome, and there's also many moments of Gon just like being just overwhelmingly busted OP for like the world he's in, So like when you see him going all out, it's quite cool to just see, like he's pushing it to the limit, and you get to see him. It's like, okay, you didn't have to come up with a fishing hook based solution from the bushes for this. You didn't have to come up with just a tricky plan or gimmick. You're just fucking fighting, and you're like, Gon can fight. He can do it. He's moving, It's a little reminder that you need to get every once in a while of like, oh no, they're going. And then it's as well getting to see that that reveal of like, okay, what is Hisoka's actual deal? Oh, he can stick something to you and then pull that shit back. So he's got a little get over here Nen ability.
Do you mean bungee gum?
Bungee
it has the
gum.
property of both rubber and gum.
I do. That sounds like a very One Piece move. It's a One Piece named.
Boy, does he sure get a lot of use out of it.
Oh yeah, so like no one, and the thing is, of course, once you know how that works, it's like now how are we gonna do crazy shit with it, right? That's the shonen bit, like you know the rule, now make that go crazy, And I love it. You get to see there. He's like oh, like even that. I think like right towards the end of the fight, right? It's just like, but you forgot to look to your left, and he's like, huh? And he's like, oh wait, I actually meant you're right. Bonk, like bungee gums a piece of just debris. And uses it to like knock Gon in the head. And Gon starts getting used to like the ability to like pick up plates of the fight arena and throw them as well. So
I love that bit.
He does that a couple times, he's just using raw strength and environmental awareness and stuff. Yeah, I think it all in all is like okay. And then he does it, right? Hisoka dunks on him as expected. And he's like, okay, kid, yeah, you got it. I'm excited for what you're going to become. I want you to keep becoming that. I'm going to fight groom you, into becoming the thing I want to fight so that I can enjoy that tasty morsel or whatever the fuck he says, And then he walks out of there. And, there's another moment too that's really interesting. And I'm assuming it's telling. But when Gon loses... And Hisoka beats him, everyone goes, oh, shit. They all react and pop off. And it cuts to Killua. And Killua just breathes a sigh of relief. He goes,
Yep.
Like, oh, he was worried about what if Gon's that good, though,
Yeah.
You're like, hold on, Gon. Wait a minute. You can't get that good that quickly, right? Poor Zushi is already getting left in the dust, and he's like, I don't want to help them anymore because they're that much better than me. It's unfair, And now, like you see that little moment of relief when, Killua's like, okay, all right, he's supposed to lose here. Yeah, that was good.
So, did you see the moment then as well? With Hisoka in his hotel room after this fight, I think.
Yeah, he's getting the repairs, right? And then
that's not after this fight. That's after the other one where he lost his arm with Castro.
Exactly. And so this girl shows up and she's doing like Nen stitching to put his arm back on. And it's quite interesting. He has a little shower scene and everything. And you kind of, you get introduced to the fact that like, oh, he can take whatever damage possible. And like using Nen, you can do broken bullshit, like reattaching a broken limb and they break down the specifics of how and why Nen allows him to grab his own arm, pull cards out of it. He does a TV card trick in the middle of his fight. Where he guesses your number, just like Copperfield would have done back in the day, And
Machi she's a member of the Phantom Troop.
Right.
The real Phantom Troop.
Yeah. Who
I love her.
To get.
I love the Phantom Troop. And then you have the reveal that Hisoka is in the fucking Phantom Troop, and it's like, of course.
He's got the little sticker on the back, but it's like a sticker though. It's like a planted thing that peels, and stuff. So you're like, okay, this dude's whatever he's up to. He's up to some shit. But that's exactly it. So you get a nice piece of what he's about, and in his off time too as well. Just you kind of want him like, is Hisoka just sitting in an empty room with a chair, staring at the ground until it's fight time? And it's like, kind of. He's kind of just shuffling through cards a lot of the time, But then it's like, oh, like, hey, do you want to go get a coffee? And she's like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, well,
I think Tagashi's so good at just inserting those little like pieces of dialogue and moments that just make people more like people, And I love Machi's complete. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and maybe if he wasn't licking his lips and going, "You want to get a coffee?" Maybe if he wasn't that dude all the time, then But
because you see him in that shower and you're like, "Oh, this dude's actually really attractive." Like what?
But it's very clear. Like the chaotic clown energy. now we have a little bit more context for where he's at and what the power levels are and what the fight actually looks like. Because the impression you get in the exam is you get the impression he's going to look at you and then your head's going to explode. And then that's the end of the fight, But when you close the gap, which is, again, the shonen thing, right? To have another pull, you see Byakuya, right? And he does his fucking Senbon Zakura sword thing. And you're like, I don't know what's happening, but everyone's dead and he didn't do anything. And then it's like, oh, no, wait, there's the light. And if you slow it down, you can see. And then the cherry blossom petals and you can follow the cuts. And if you move fast enough, you can keep up to realize you're not just dying in teleported stopped time, So it's that where you zoom in on what seems like magic. And it is magic, but... Yeah,
and it explains why Hisoka is so far ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, he's in the tier of being part of that Phantom Troop, right, and stuff is like, oh, we're not in the same realm of you're Akatsuki, you know what I mean? You're fucking whatever, the Aizen group, all that shit. You're beyond these kids and the squabbles and the people fighting regularly, etc. Why are we thinking about you in common terms here? What the fuck is a hunter exam? You know what I mean? When you're capable of doing this type of shit. That is very interesting. I gotta say too as well. I mean, I pretty much expected it, having heard the thing as much as I was editing. But when you get to that second season and the intro departure goes to the second verse. We move a little bit further into the song, and then you see the new visuals. That's really cool. Lots of shadowy figures that they're just kind of throwing at you right there. Here's some silhouettes. Pick your favorite. You're going to, soon. That Haruka Kanata Season 2 energy, right? Of here you go. And then the outro as well with that cool fucking song. I forgot what it's called, but it's a really nice riff at the beginning. And the first thing you see is Gon there and just Jing. With the hat in the back, just I don't know what the fuck the deal is with this dude, but we're gonna find out soon. We'll get there. But that's it, man. That was a nice little escalation of events, and I do feel like I feel like the missing pieces of my comprehension of what this show is and why are now in place, and this arc was necessary to put it together.
So I would say now is the point with Hunter x Hunter that I can kind of look at you and say, okay, tutorial over.
Right. Title screen drop.
That is kind of where the show is at now. And I love Heaven's Arena. I think it's a really, really fun arc. I love all the little world building touches. If you get past 4-200, you get a really nice hotel room here. I love stuff like that,
right, right, yeah.
But it's really, really cool. But it has now subtly positioned all the pieces for shit to really pop off, and they do in the next arc, York New City.
Okay.
Which maybe we'll York New City.
Okay.
I believe it's based on the name of a real city, but I haven't been able to figure out which one.
Oh, sounds obscure. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Yep. Yeah. All right. I heard the sounds of a noise there for a second, but
no. It's just
was that a noise?
No, nothing.
Okay. All right.
So we getting ready to rank it?
Yeah. I think here's where it's at, right? And to be fair, I think we can take into account everything up to this point. The tutorial of Hunter x Hunter. Up to episode 36, which also, fun fact, at this point in 1999, episode 36 is the coin toss Butler game.
Wow. Okay. Understood.
Okay? They're just getting to freeing Killua and the Butler coin toss 36 episodes in.
So I have still never watched the 99 version.
Ugh.
And but Woolie, I'm telling you, there are people who will come after you for this.
Sure,
there are
I'm sure.
people who swear by the 99 version.
That's
I think,
fine.
especially in its art direction, it gets a lot of praise.
Yeah.
But look, you weren't into it. It doesn't matter.
Well,
Don't be me. Don't be me.
No. That's okay. Based on the pacing of that show, if they're coming after me, I'm going to have a long time before they actually get here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pantheon of greatness.
Okay.
The first 36 episodes of Hunter x Hunter are better than Omicron.
I would hope so.
Yeah. People calling this like Gone in 3 hours or whatever we're at. I'm gonna put them better than Cybersix.
Okay.
Better
I would agree.
Better than Police Knots.
Mm-hmm.
Had a great time with that. Better than Fear and Hunger.
Okay.
Did I enjoy the setup to this anime more than Vinland Saga Season 1?
We got an anime showdown. Here.
Apples to apples. Based on the potential of where this can go, it's so hard, but I think I'm more excited for the next season of Vinland Saga.
Okay. I think it beats it for me, but I was thinking about this, and I think the person who consumed it, the person who it was recommended it to, should be the deciding factor in these decisions. For me, personally, I think it edges out Vinland Saga. I think that's still a pretty decent place for it.
Now, the thing is that, and that's it. It's like you know the future, and you know what these things become, But just based on what is above the water right now, just based on what we can see from here, I can't put my expectations for like things that might not happen. On the table. But
I would say Vinland Saga Season 1 is in a lot of ways a much more complete story than the first 36 episodes of Hunter x Hunter.
So this is what it kind of comes down to, is that, yes, it is a more complete story, and there are more things, there are more new experiences I had going through Vinland Saga Season 1 than I did Hunter x Hunter. But that's the nature of the genre that it's tackling,
Yeah.
Like they're attempting to do different things. So that's fair.
I have a question for you, Woolie. What are the chances of you continuing through Hunter x Hunter at some point without my intervention?
Are you doing some reconnaissance here?
I don't know, Woolie. Am I?
Is that a recommendation you're making?
I guess we'll find out. Recommend or die.
Recommend or die.
Here we go. It's the part of the podcast that some of you skip to, even though you have express instruction not to do that.
God damn it. You skipped here. You moved the goddamn cursor up 3 minutes, up 3 hours, and through 3.5 hours. Stop skipping here.
You gotta eat your potatoes before you get dessert. Okay? Go back to the start of the podcast.
If you don't eat your meat.
That's it. Go back 3 hours. I don't care what you were doing. That's not how this fucking podcast works.
Stop cutting to this part just to post fucking what the recs are. Go listen to it, goddammit.
The podcast has been up for 15 minutes. Don't you fucking tell me it's been a great episode and that you can't wait to see Woolie watch Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, the call out. It's so real. It's so real.
Okay. I think I can go first.
Where are we going, John?
Okay. I don't know if this is something you've experienced. I know I've never heard you talk about it, and I know that we've never talked about it, and I feel like it would have come up if we did. BoJack Horseman.
You know, I've been meaning to watch BoJack Horseman. That's one that's been around for a while. Damn, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a fun one. Oh, no, wait. Combo Breaker! Ah! We're on the board. That took a minute. Okay. That took a minute, but we're on the board.
Okay.
But you know what?
Well,
here's why I like that though, because that means that at some point in the lounge, we get to talk about the view from halfway down.
Okay. So we know what the current episode of the lounge is. The Intermission Lounge is the Patreon exclusive podcast that we do. We know what the one after this is. We're fucking doing BoJack after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, Woolie, BoJack Horseman is a 7 out of 7.
Ooh. Okay.
And I gave it a 6 first. I rewatched it recently. 7.
That's a strong. Okay.
Okay, I guess we're gonna have to accelerate some plans here.
Yeah, catch that break. What's up?
So, Woolie, I know you're a big fan of Berserk.
Berserk is, you know what? It's all right. It's not too bad.
I also know that you've never quite caught up with Berserk.
That is true.
So, what I'm going to say, Woolie, is there is a very particular part of Berserk that I want you to get to. Now, this part, I don't know how far or not far you are from it. So all I'm going to ask is that you make a decent effort to pick up from where you left down in Berserk and get to this part. If you don't make it by next episode, that is totally fine, because I don't know how far this is going to be. But give me a second and let me just find the specific line I want you to stop on.
So, folks, while he takes a moment to find that specific line, what this tells me is that his plans, his premium plans for getting BoJack out there, were upset, and that his plan B is not fully thought about, because he doesn't know the exact place he needs me to go. So he's scurrying a little bit to find the exact place. You see, because he needed...
That is all correct. I have
He's
no
scrambling.
I have no counter to that. I was so confident in BoJack. This might take me a second.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm sitting there like, are we just going? You know, are we gonna push to Chimera Ant in one full swoop? I don't know. But whatever, we'll see, you know. But all this,
Woolie, When you hit the line, that too will soon disappear with a single tear like morning dew. You stop fucking dead, you close the browser or the book, and you come talk.
That too will disappear like morning dew.
And I'm going to ask you to obviously not look up about anything about what that line might mean or what point in the story it comes. I can give you the chapter number. If I can give you the chapter it comes, but I will do so off air.
Okay. Because here's the deal, right? I got very far into Berserk a long time ago, but I don't remember where. Because back with your fans' translations, Band of the Hawk, etc., I was going through a lot of it, and I don't remember how far I got in, but it was definitely not to the boat, certainly. And
I am jealous because you have so much amazing shit.
It was, yeah, but that's the thing. Like they hadn't reached that part yet, you know. But there was, but I don't remember where exactly.
So,
and what you see behind me are the volumes, and you can see the plastic on the ones that are not yet reopened as I'm going back to try and recapture and remember where I got to, because right now I'm just going back. It's a reread, you know. So I just I haven't yet reread up to the part where I stopped.
So it sounds like you could have a lot. So what I think you should do is have a think about, like, do you want to start it again? Do you want to pick up at a certain part? I don't really care. The thing is, next time on this podcast, me and you are going to talk Berserk. And it can be whatever part of it. It can be that I just want to do an episode on Berserk. And then your mission is to keep reading until you hit that line. And I don't care if that takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. But it's very important that you hit that line and stop.
And stop.
Yes.
Okay.
This will all make sense eventually, but I'm setting up some shit. Okay. My recommendation to Woolie Versus on this episode is Berserk.
Surprise, surprise. Who saw that coming?
Hey, I thought BoJack was pretty left field, okay? You're fine. You don't want to talk about the Horseman cartoon? Fine. Greatest story ever told. Boom.
It's really, really, really good. Yeah.
I also, I should we have a conversation about whether we rank Berserk or not? Because here's the thing, I feel like if we I want the audience to weigh in on this as well.
We have to.
If we rank Berserk, it's just going to sit at the top, and I don't know anything's ever going to beat it.
We rank the conversation about ranking Berserk. Man, okay. Yeah, we'll cross that. We'll cross that ocean when we get there. All right. Okay. Well, I guess it's my turn. Last month was a bit of a wake-up call, you know? It was certainly like it's Cybersix, you know, a little bit of try this out, have a little fun there. And you then, like I said, you stood on business. You took it seriously. You looked me dead in the eye and you said, "This is what we're fucking doing."
Is this what the suit is about?
Perhaps. You know, I mean, look, Leorio wears a suit, right?
That's what I did want to say. Awesome Leorio cosplay.
Thank you. Leorio does have a suit. Mm-hmm. And I was, you know, so like I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm playing along with some fun things, and you know, I like you're playing for keeps. I'm playing for fun. You're playing for keeps. You're bringing shit out that, you know, you're sharing experiences that are, again, I expected us to build up to, perhaps under duress, perhaps under circumstances that might have, you know.
I hate this so much. I
thought we were gonna go places in time, but we got there so much sooner. We got there so much sooner than I expected. And so you got serious. Leorio, funny you mention him. He wears a pretty mean suit, right? What else does Leorio have?
A briefcase? Sunglasses?
Kind of like that?
Like what? What the fuck?
A briefcase, kind of like the one that I'm holding right here?
Right? Yeah, I guess so.
So, for our audio listeners, I'm in a suit and I'm holding a briefcase.
He really is. I can't over exaggerate how much he is doing that. And now he's opening the briefcase. What the It's a game. I can't.
Are you familiar with Dokapon Kingdom?
No.
You've never heard of Dokapon Kingdom?
I believe I maybe have heard it come from your mouth once or twice. Why I may even have watched a video.
What you can't hear is the sound of people losing their fucking minds right now. Dokapon Kingdom is a game that is made to destroy people, right? It actually marketed itself as a game that is made to destroy friendships, really, is what it's about. Now, here's the thing, right? This is it's a game that's like Mario Party-esque, but it amplifies things quite a good bit. Things get pretty intense with it. I played it with Reggie and with Min, and we had a whole saga with that. I think over where you are, given circumstances, time zones, etc., all these types of things, you and the CPU will have a hell of a romp trying out Dokapon Kingdom, the story mode. It's a Mario Party style game with a story mode in it. What you do is you and 3 CPUs set to sneaky difficulty, because you're pretty sneaky, so I don't see why not give this a shot. Your goal is to try to save the kingdom, try to make as much money as possible, and just give it a shot at this board game.
That sounds like a pleasant time.
Yeah. Give it a shot. You're gonna, go through multiple chapters, and it depends. Do what you can, right? I don't know that you'll necessarily get through a full story mode, but I mean, at the very least, spend some time, roll some dice, earn some properties, and play through Dokapon Kingdom story mode. When I played it, it was originally just a PS2 version, but it's since been re-released for the Switch or for Steam. It's out there, and yeah. Let me know how that goes.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised. I thought you might have heard of it, but brand new experiences, right? Here's to new experiences.
I am having some flashbacks from conversations we've had, and I have a real darkness forming in my chest, but I'm hoping it's some kind of perhaps physical condition that I'm suffering and not a ominous signal about what this game is. Well, this game's okay, right? This is a fun game. This is going to be good. I'm going to have a good time.
You own a suit, don't you, John?
Yes.
Okay. Then perhaps you should get it steam cleaned and ready because from this point forward, it's business.